of the deep, dolphin mysteries. Bottlenose freaks, short beaks in the night. Humpback shadows, pygmies out of sight. All the dolphins, you know it's true. Rolling deep in the ocean blue. Stripes and spots, they rule the tide. Water dogs of the deep, they don't hide. In the river's grip, seas endless bounty. Ruling the waves, dolphin Illuminati. Praised by Romans, gods to the Greeks. Underwater rulers, the power peaks. In ocean depths, that counts to 6. Dolphins in the dark, never calling it quits. Striped and spotted in the sea's domain. Aquatic dogs in their own insane lane. Through rivers they ride, seas they roam. In the ocean depths, they make their home.
Well, I talk about insanity, which is what's going on in your mind, and outside, which is where you communicate with those outside. As you know, if you give too much of your insanity, they'll lock you up. I tried giving as much as I could. They didn't lock me up. They published it on paper.
Dolphin, Illuminati. Deep, deep, deep in the deep they creep. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. In the rivers and the seas, they be a constant mystery. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. It's that dolphin, Illuminati. Layla hates her hotties. Oh yeah, Layla, she hates her hotties. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she hates the hotties. Oh yeah. She hates the hotties.
Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
Brap, brap, brap. Big up yourselves. Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. All four of us are here, so make sure you hit your bells and your thumbs up and all the things if you're joining us on Secret Society of Good Guys YouTube channel over on Rumble, or if you're one of the people that has already jumped over to the Everything app X. We love all your comments and do have the smartest chat room in the world. So go over to Project Chaney on YouTube if you want to hang out with the world's deadliest chat. Hi, good guys.
Hi.
Hello.
What
Do
the
all the
fuck?
things, hit the button, ring the bell, squeech the bodily boops, peg the cucks, do the things.
Do
Take the cucks.
the things.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm so fired up after like a long ass fucking shift, 12-hour shift. I'm like, spicy. And no alcohol. I haven't drank since the last time you guys saw me drink. Yay me.
Is that making you feel any better at all, or you still feel like do?
Oh, I still feel like but you know what I was thinking? And there's a weird thought. What do you guys think of this? Okay. And this is, I want
I
to hear
love
you
it. I
guys.
already love it.
I love you.
too.
Okay. What if, because we're so used to like wanting to fix the thing, what if sometimes it's okay to like go through the thing and just let your body do its thing and see what happens? Because I don't think enough people do that, but we want to like automatically fix the problem instead of like letting your body heal you, because it can heal you.
Well, if reality is a mirror and you're always saying, I'm not well, guess what it reflects back to you?
I'm not well.
This is my strategy with repairing my AC too. Like, it has to get through whatever it's going through, and eventually it's gonna like be back in shape.
But don't you wonder that sometimes? Because they have us so indoctrinated, like, oh, you're not feeling well, go to the doctor, put a Band-Aid, get this, get that. But like our liver is known to like heal itself, but if you allow it to like do that, you know? So like back in the day, I feel like that's what they did. They let people just rest in bed and like heal and like kind of do its thing so its body can recover.
Leeches.
Yeah, like things like that.
Bloodletting.
Yeah, and you've seen it in movies. I don't know if that's what they actually did, but it's like, I don't know, maybe that's a thing and we're not like really putting our mind to that and like just want to get automatic like results and not want to go through the pain because it sucks.
I mean, this was, I think, part of Robert Anton Wilson's therapy when he was a kid growing up. I can't remember what ailment that he had, but instead of taking all of the conventional cures for his time, part of his was just like sucking it up and dealing with it. And it ended up actually helping him a lot because the solutions that were offered at that time were later shown to have worse side effects than the actual ailment that he was going through. And there's not going to be any point in time, I think, that in 50 years from now, people are going to look back and be like, ooh, like maybe that wasn't the best fix. It's just the best thing we have. And the wild thing
Like
is when I go and
schmuck
visit, like what?
Like the wacky vac.
Well, let's not name any specific vax names, but it does seem that like
Any
when
of
I go
them.
and see
All
friends
of
or
them.
family that watch regular TV and they still get commercials, because I just have been pirating all my media for over decades now. So when I see commercials, it's like foreign to me, and it reminds me exactly what Layla's talking about. How you're watching just like a normal daytime show, and you'll see 5 different prescription ads that are all meant to be like the solution for this very specific thing that you're going through. And then it's wild. It's a cultural thing though, to feel like if we're living in the future, how come there's not a fix for everything? And that's easy to monetize, like selling you not only a cure, but like look how futuristic you are.
Well, that's the whole, like you said, the magic word, like we're in the future, but what makes sense to me is back to the future. It's like we're going back into the future because the future was the beginning. And it's like we're going backwards in a sense of like fucking shit up instead of like doing things the right way. Like going back to the future is probably what we should be doing. It's like all reversed. And they're saying that we're progressing, but I think we're declining.
Well, even on a
We progress towards chaos. Because
Yeah.
on any timeline, every system increases in entropy, not decreases, right?
And I even on a small end, it's like sometimes it's better for your body to go through the fever. The
Yeah.
fever is healing you, but then you have a Tylenol or an Advil and that breaks your fever. So you're in this constant state of limbo instead of letting your body finish the cycle of the fever.
Even cold medicine, it's like everybody like dopes himself up on cold medicine, and it's like if you just let yourself have the symptoms, you're over it a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah. And for me, I know, like, if I were able to like stay at home and not work and actually stay in bed and do the right fast and just juice and go through the headaches and go through the vomiting and go through whatever process and purge that I need to do by being in bed and trying to heal myself organically through plant medicine, peptides, the necessary steps where it's not going to affect me at work, I would fucking love to do that. But I can't like take breaks and like work 12-hour shifts on a fast and then like barking at people because I'm fucking cranky or hangry or whatever the case may be. So it's like,
Yeah, I do think there are some things though that your body fucking goes through that there's no amount of like oregano oil to fix it.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that you really are like, oh fuck, I'm
Well,
having
that's what
this.
you need methylene blue in addition to the oregano oil.
Yeah,
You
Oh,
just
scor-
don't
yeah.
know.
scorpion venom.
There's a certain aspect too to this whole thing of medicine in general and like therapy. It's that like old joke where someone finds a mouse in the wall, so they put a cat in the wall, and then it might have just been like a
There was an old
sunniest
lady who lived in
or Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It
That
might have
was
been an
last
episode of
week.
like then you got to put the dog in the wall to get the cat, and then how do you get the dog out? And it just like it keeps escalating until you need something that's just going to destroy your entire house when originally you were just going after a mouse.
I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she'll die. Sorry, I had to finish it.
There you go. Exactly.
That's the story.
Exactly.
You know what song I heard when he was saying that? The seed in the hole in the grass and the green grass goes all around, all around. It's like that, levels of whatever.
I don't know that song.
What? It's like
On the green grass
there's a
and
tree and there's a
Yep.
leaves on the tree and the trees on the branch on the trees and the tree in the hole in the ground and the green grass goes all around. So
Isn't
it's
that
like,
wild how you're able to remember that? And that's probably something that you learned when you were like 5.
yeah, it was exactly 5.
That's what I
Kindergarten.
always tell everyone. Like, everybody, you have a childhood phone number. You remember it. Don't say it aloud.
I do.
903-2.
That should
Oh.
be your and your family's code of like if shit hits the fan or if anyone comes and picks you up and they're like, how do I know it's really you? Because only your real family all knows your childhood phone number.
Yeah,
I even know my childhood's best friend's phone number.
same.
Same. I have a friend. Listen to this funny shit. I wish I knew her sign because it'd be that much funnier. And I wish she even watched this show and I'd shout her out, but she don't watch the show. She's the type of friend in life, and she's always worked her ass off. I think she's probably had 3 jobs since we were 15. Like she's just one of those people. She stays at a company forever. She also has this different than hoarding. It's like an ownership thing that once she ever has anything, she has to keep that thing. So she still pays every month for her pager number.
Really?
She still has her
Oh,
pager
that is
number.
so awesome.
I don't
much are
even know, maybe
pagers
like
now?
$4.72 added onto her bill, but she won't let anybody else have the number. She still has, when she had her own line when we were like 16, 17 years old, that is her phone number of her grown lady house right now.
Wow.
Like if I call that number, she will still answer it. And that is like, she is a kid, her parents have passed away. Like this is lifetimes later now. And just that, like, no, nobody else is ever allowed to have that number. So like Layla said, she'd probably be the only person I could call if I from prison.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think my friend still has that number, honestly.
Let's call
yeah.
him right now. Let's do it.
No, I
Let's
can't.
call him on
It's
air.
okay.
Let's call him on air, but then connect him to the White House and let them take it.
Sorry, Alicia, if you're watching this.
That is so fucking funny. Let's call your friend on air right now and connect up to my friend and let them just talk. and
Hello?
we'll just be-
Hello?
Who is this?
You called me. No, you called me.
And we'll just be on air laughing with the good guys.
Let's make our chat GPTs talk to each other.
That was honestly my first introduction to like reality influencer culture at all, was like Jerky Boys style prank calls where like those kind of scenarios would play themselves out.
I don't know, man.
Even saying that, it's like not a big deal at all that like every kid that we know has a fucking phone. Like a kid turns 8 now and it's like, oh, we got to get him a phone. It was a big deal to have your own phone line. when
Yeah,
I was
we were not that cool. I
Oh
was
my
not that cool kid.
god.
Back in my day.
I was like not allowed to have a phone. No, only sluts have cell phones. Like what? Like I wasn't
Dude,
allowed to. Yeah, that was
Only
that was
I
drug
the
just
dealers
saw
thing
this
have
probably.
thing
pagers.
where like this guy said we're the last generation that had to call and talk, like pray that the dad didn't answer the phone when we called the girl. And I was like, damn,
Yeah,
kids don't have to do that. Like that was always
yeah.
nerve wracking when the parents answer the
I'm
oh my
I
phone.
had
gosh,
to
they
like
don't even have to
hide in
let
the
a
closet.
sibling or somebody picking up the phone while you're on it.
Yeah.
Dude, I wasn't allowed to talk on the phone with boys. So I had to like fucking hide in a closet, pull the other phones out of the line. So in case they like try to pick up, they didn't hear like a fucking guy on the phone. So like it was a whole process, like trying to talk to somebody. Like it was a mission.
I feel like it still happens, but now the people listening in aren't your siblings. It's just random
Yeah.
Chinese
I
and
loved
Russian
listening in
spies.
on people. It was so fun to pick up the receiver and not get caught.
Well, the weird part is like I remember my dad telling me when he was growing up in Illinois that he would pick up the phone in his house and he could hear all the people on his street talk. So when he
I've
was a
had that
kid, he
happen.
would just like it was a party line. So when he was a kid, he would just hang out and like listen to all the neighborhood gossip.
Mm. And they will never know the sound of, logging on to AOL and that whole process and like how the internet really was before. It was just different.
It
I
was an
just missed it.
initiation ritual. Like it was
Yeah.
very ritualistic. Now we're just online 24/7. Like it's more notable when you're offline. It's almost like the power going out. But yeah, before you would listen to a certain noise, it'd be like a 30-second loop of like some kind of sound or process or watching progress bars. And it was almost like
Like
when you
that.
get onto the
Yeah.
roller coaster and it like slowly builds up with like anticipation.
I miss it. I love that sound.
We get thrown off the internet for that. Like we just said something to the quantum Wi-Fi.
I just love it though. Whatever
tones-
MK Ultra that is.
That is what's dialing all of our number. Like essentially, the computer is singing a song to another computer, even way back when, and all of us had a very precise tone that it had to sing to get there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of phreaking? Like PH, not the Diddy kind, but PHREAKING. So phreaking, I think it started around the time that Captain Crunch had a specific whistle. Back when back in my day talk, but like, back when cereal had toys inside, Captain Crunch came with a whistle, and that whistle was the exact tone of when you put a quarter into an old payphone, it did something similar to that modem noise. It would just make like a high-pitched little chirp, and that would tell the automated system, hey, someone just put a quarter into this phone. So you could take a Captain Crunch whistle, and if you just blew it really quick, it would tell any payphone that you just put money in it. So people were going around and getting free telephone calls, and it gave birth to this whole new way of hacking the old school telephone grid. So exactly what we're talking about. And kids were like out doing, they called it phreaking. And there was red boxes and blue boxes and black boxes and all this stuff. And I think a lot of this came out of like the Anarchist Cookbook. It kind of covered a whole big section of this.
I wish I would have learned about that because I
That's
always had to
pretty
call my parents collect.
That's pretty similar though to, wasn't it like Wozniak and Steve Jobs? They figured out this like tonal box they could hook up to anyone's phone and get free long distance. And it just played these little chimes like you're saying. And whatever it was to get to the outside of the US code.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was another, I think, a specific calculator that you could get from Radio Shack in like the late 80s that had a very similar ability to do all this stuff. And now these are computer hacker like legendary items. Like if you go and try and find one of those specific Captain Crunch whistles, it's just a bunch of computer nerds that are going in on it because of what it represents. It represented one of the earliest ways to hack these like automated systems.
You know what's so crazy is I also, when I was growing up, all the Mockingbirds, they all did the car alarms. Like it was, they'd be like, meow, meow, meow. Like every car alarm was the same sequence of things, and they still do it. And there hasn't been that car alarm around, and I don't even know how long.
I know.
It's like sometimes I'm like, I wonder if the car alarm mimics the bird. Or if the bird mimicked the car alarm. But it's kind of like of these frequencies, talking to dolphins, the bugs, like do the cicadas bring the hot weather, rain dancing, and those kind of frequencies. It is really interesting.
Dude, there was something that we found on the Occult Disney podcast, and it was that it was some phrase that got thrown out, and I researched it. But there's an actual index that the frequency at which grasshoppers are like playing their little song on their legs, the higher the frequency, the higher the weather. So people at a certain point before mercury thermometers, they would actually tell the weather, whether they knew it or not, based on the pitch of the frequency of the grasshopper legs. And that's like some old like folk stuff. And it almost seems like folk magic, like you're listening to the green language of nature. But this is one example when even modern science was like, damn, I guess they were onto something.
Sometimes I wonder if rods are picking up like a sound. What'd you say,
That was my
Layla?
brother. That was my brother.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, someone's creeping outside Layla's window. Don't do that to me.
That was the most mad Layla ever got on air. Who told you that, Rick? I don't remember who, but somebody in the audience was like, there's somebody behind Layla in the window. And so she just read it. Like, imagine if it was a real emergency and it wasn't until you got there. So like you're just reading, and she had a green screen behind her. So it was a fake house.
Yeah. It gave me fucking Scream vibes.
It's just funny.
Hello?
Like you got
What's your
trolled.
favorite scary movie?
Oh shit. I like that this is called Contact and we're kind of talking about this stuff because it feels equivalent to that same kind of, if we're questioning all these things with different frequencies and tones, what could a super ancient race where people think Tatarian sometimes, but in that angels aliens way, maybe the Tatarians are returning and that's the aliens everyone's waiting on.
Or it could be the multi-layers of the inner earth people after every reset.
Well, you
Maybe
guys
it's
saw
killer
that
found
thing
from outer
that
space.
Trump. Here, let me pull it up.
Daddy?
Is he still daddy?
What was
He's
his
still
name?
daddy to
Who
me.
called him daddy?
People got mad. A lot of people get triggered by it
I don't understand why. It's just fucking words.
because
like,
some
get
people
real.
like it to prefer like, oh, Antichrist.
Yeah.
They get upset when we just like daddy. Okay, no, for real. Let me find it because I thought it was so interesting.
You can't just promise daddy and not show daddy.
Right?
I know I have
Right?
to find a good.
I saw an interesting video today when I just had someone in the background. It was called like 20 Trumpers debate a progressive, and I guess this is a new format now for debates where the one guy that's purporting to be an expert on some subject sits in the middle of a room and they have like a buzzer, and whoever can run to the table first and grab the seat gets to
Retarded.
debate them, and then everyone around them gets to hold these little red flags, and if more than 11 of the 20 people hold up a red flag, then that person gets kicked out of the chair and the next person tries to go up and debate it. And it's like this very calculated way. It's almost like you're trying to present yourself as a chess wizard with like, you know, you're beating 20 different people at the same time.
I think it's retarded. It's
Okay.
like ego stroking. It's like, look, I'm an expert. I'm gonna, debate all these people because all these people are fucking stupid. That's what
I
it
thought
seems
this
like.
was crazy today. Trump briefed on Nordic alien hybrids. Congressman Eric Burlinson revealed in an X space that David Grosh gave the briefing to Trump, according to blah, 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 believe Nordic tall whites are only a couple hundred years ahead of human technology.
We have that in our ancient history, and you're supposed to leave out sugar cubes out so they don't fuck with you. If you're living in the woods or whatever in farmlands, I forgot what they're called in Albanian, but they're called the white ones. They're white.
But that's also like the Pleiadians. They're like
Yeah.
the similar thing. But it's also funny because of Baron Trump.
Dude, that book is why I love that book.
Yeah, Trump's like, I know, they're already here.
Yeah, they aren't. They said them not to sleep with the daughters of men. They didn't say anything about the sons.
I love how it took you to these places and described these places in a way that you could actually imagine how it could be being in these realms, you know? Like an idea of what these people could be like and what they face, and are they
Oh,
evil?
the Underground
Are they-
Adventures of
yeah,
Baron Trump.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I felt like I missed part of the thing, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
There's another one. If you like that story and like the Ingersoll Rand stuff, there's another one that was called it was Edithorpa. It's basically Aphrodite spelled backwards, and this was illustrated by the same guy that illustrated Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly Palmer Hall, John Augustus Knapp, and it takes a very similar tone of going both in the outer space, but also into like Hollow Earth and encountering these entities that have like more futuristic technology by about 200 years or so. And this book was like way ahead of its time. It's in public domain now, and almost no one's heard of it.
Huh. Interesting. It's a book?
Yes, it's Aphrodite spelled backwards. I think it's
Okay.
Edithorpa.
Okay.
I
check
really
it out.
do. I know we have a lot of we oddly titled things, but I do think we broke down this book. I think we all read
Yeah.
it and then broke it down.
Yeah, we had a whole episode on it. Like we read it. We
Like
described
we did homework.
we even had like talking about like going down a pipe and lubing it and all that. Like we had like a whole fucking laugh.
Yeah, Layla was like describing it, and it sounded like she was so just trying to be freaking kinky and maybe doing entendre, but it was absolutely she's being serious. So I'm just losing my shit because it was so fucking funny.
Yeah. So Thomas, welcome back from Bohemian Grove. Like Alex Jones, you infiltrated and you got video. We don't know if we're ready to share that here, but you also hung out with the infamous Donut. Do you want to share about your adventures?
Yeah, I mean,
Potato.
we did Bohemian Grove, which was great, hosted by Shane Cashman and Owen Benjamin and Sam Tripoli, like made up, and it turned into something way bigger than anyone expected it to turn into. But that was just the start. That was just the first 2 days of Donut being here. The day after that, we went to the gun range because I make sure all my guests get to shoot a Desert Eagle a few times.
Hell yeah.
And then we did Epic Universe. We did Magic Kingdom. We did Epcot. We had to kind of like hit all of the high notes because we all just talk about occult Disney constantly. And he said he'd never been to Walt Disney World. So we did the whole damn thing. And like for the first time in over a week, I'm not at a theme park or like driving home from a theme park. Man, it's not fun after like 3 days. I
No,
think it's like
No.
the maximum of it.
Yeah. One thing though, like being there with somebody who's like geeky about a cult like you are, was it like more interesting to be around just the like novel stuff that's sitting on the streets to like take pictures of it or look down at the manhole covers than normally like ride to ride to ride to ride?
Yeah, I mean, I think we get more out of it, but also there's something to be said about being that kid that's just lost in like all of the magic and all that of the park. Because there's another element too, where if you work in movies and like, or for me, if it was doing special effects, I can't ever really watch movies the same way again because I'm thinking like, oh, this is how they did this scene, or here's how, and the same for musicians and the same for chefs. Like you might still enjoy food, but you're not going to just mindlessly eat something without like, oh, what is that ingredient? Oh, this is going to drive me crazy, right? And so there's that part of it going around the park. And I do see just like my two favorite things in the park is like seeing the people that are absolutely lost in the Disney magic for good or bad reasons. And then my other favorite thing is kind of sadistic, but I like seeing the families that are like yelling at the children, like, we're going to go home right now. Or like seeing like the old, like one of the highlights of the whole trip was this old couple that had to be in like their 60s. and the wife was like like yelling at the husband, dressing him down, like, you don't let me finish, and he's like interrupting her as she's saying it, but it's like out for 10,000 people to see in like this little area. And but again, it's just like people get lost in a completely different reality when they're in this park, and I like seeing that kind of stuff. It feels like I'm actually watching a CIA operation.
Wow.
Yeah, it is so interesting, all those parks. It just feels like they're running like a experiment with things. Like everything feels like a little timed experiment.
The very last night that he was here, we were at Epcot, and Epcot has this really epic firework display. Like Disney, it goes way above and beyond whatever your coolest July 4th White House firework display is. Like Disney is outdoing it every single night, like 365 days a year. And during this final fireworks show, they play this, this weird cult-like voices over the speakers. And man, it really does its job, because it basically will raise your expectations and have all these colors and flashing and loud explosions, and then it all kind of dies down, and you hear, you see this show right here, and then all these fireworks stop, and then it's just like a female voice. It's like, and that's when we all realize that we're all living together in this moment, and it's so magical and it's so special that we all get to be alive and experience each other, and this is the glory and the wonder of the human spirit. And like there's like this moment where you're like, oh my God, they're so right. Maybe this corporate entity is really helping us, like achieve something bigger than ourselves. And then the fireworks show ends, and the mad dash to the trams to get to your car, or people trying to get the last thing in the gift shop before the park close. It goes from, we are all one, we all love each other, humanity is getting better and better, to just people mowing each other down and families having freakouts. And there's not a lot of points when you can go from such a huge swing of juxtaposition between like one extreme to the other at such a scale where you don't also get hurt or die at the end of that. This, like Disney specifically, is one of the only places that you can see people acting in crazy ways at scale, but like in a corporately controlled way, so that it doesn't devolve into rioting.
It is so crazy. Like they have everything timed with what crowd is where everyone's going, the timing of the trams to each spot with each of these buses. They have boats coming in from another side.
Islands.
Even the entrances that they have. Thank you, loved one, by the way.
Thanks.
You're awesome. We love you guys. I was watching what's that? Travis Scott, his concert, like
the Astro World documentary they're talking about.
Yeah, and how there's people like people get paid tons and tons of money to design things for just those reasons. Like if a whole crowd were to come from this place at once, what would happen? And they do such an awesome graphic on there where you can see like just the small amount of people peeling out to the other side of the stage and everyone just piling into this side of the stage. And that's what Disney's done kind of good.
In the theme park world, those are literally called people eaters. Whenever you have a large group of people getting out of a show or entering the park, whatever, like any restaurant, gift shop, ride, show, anything that can get them out of that big mass and kind of like little chunks, they literally call those people eaters.
Bathrooms, you see now in the design of something so precise like Disney or Epcot that they're kind of thinking about all of these things on a small scale. So that this is for real. They're like, how could we most efficiently make a whole city?
Well, didn't they say or come up with a theory that the Travis Scott portal thing was actually a CERN machine that they brought there, and that they opened a portal and we weren't aware of it? Like they actually like made the stage into a fucking what's it called? This is my algorithm on TikTok, but
Hadron Collider.
Yeah,
maybe.
I love that this is the angle that modern conspiracy theorists are going down.
For real.
It's so much more nuanced and has all these different components than, like, again, back in my day style conspiracy theories, where at a certain point it was all coming from like 4 different people. Now it's like these feedback loops upon feedback loops, and it's getting into people that don't even realize that they're consuming a conspiracy theory.
But it's fascinating to even think about. It's a great point.
Well,
Could be.
that's my new favorite series. Like, you wonder the rewrite of history on Netflix right now, called Trainwreck. So you can watch any of them. You can watch about like the mayor in Canada that like did crack, or you can watch one about Woodstock 99, or you can watch that. But the last one that just came out is Poop Cruise. Y'all, I cruise a lot. And I always wondered, like, some of my friends are like, I'll never go on a cruise. I'm like, why? They're like, poop cruise. And it's like, this haunts them. Like, and I didn't watch it. I didn't watch CNN back then, where I just like obsessively watched videos of poop cruise. And now seeing this, I'm like, I think about poop cruise a few times a day since I seen it.
What is
I'm like,
poop cruise?
dude, it's this cruise boat that was in Mexico, and it was just supposed to come from like Galveston, Texas, down to like a part of Mexico, and then go back. And then somewhere on the way back, they had a fire, and it burnt all these wires and shit up. So then the power goes out. So then you can't flush the toilet in any of the rooms, which seems like bad enough. So the bottom decks, they all start flooding shit, like raw feces. And then when the tugboats grab this boat, I didn't even think about this. I've been tugged in so many times, like all this stuff. It's like, because they have to drag it across the ocean, and it's this huge boat. So they have this like a tug, how they have to grab this boat and pull it. It like does this weird slant. So then all the dude, this is the worst thing I ever seen. The whole people just had to sleep on the deck. Like they all the food went bad. So they were like, here's a tomato and soggy lettuce sandwich. Like they were like, people became horrible. And then other cruise boats would just pull up alongside this boat, and they were all like doing the YMCA and shit, drinking. And they were like, help us.
No, you stink. You fucking smell like shit.
Oh my
and
god.
Poop Cruise was that one event that everyone latches onto, but it happens very frequently because the entire way that the whole like toilet and shower system works on these cruise ships is this power device that maintains the water pressure. And if that thing goes out, it usually affects the entire ship, the cast, the crew, the guests, everyone. And it means that like you can't flush your toilet. And just imagine you're on a cruise and you've been eating
thousands
like,
of people,
nonstop, right, and drinking, and then all of a sudden you can't shower and you can't use the bathroom for any reason until like it just starts. And that's, I mean, any poop cruise, even if it just happens for a day, it just piles up. I mean, literally piles up. So I can imagine anyone that's been through that is probably thinking twice about going on a cruise.
Why don't they think of like, if that were to happen, why don't we like pass around or have emergency like poop bags? Or
they did that, Layla. And some people's goals was like, I'm not going to shit in this bag. My favorite, there was these 3 lady friends, and they were like these bougie bitches. They're just having a good time, going to get drunk together, whatever. The second the power goes out, one of them who sits in the middle, she doesn't say a lot all the interview section. She goes, I immediately started popping Imodium. It was just like her head. She's like, if I'm not going to be able to poop, I'm going to be constipated. Fuck this noise. And so like, she's just like, and you hear her a few other times as the show goes on where she's like, so here I am hyped up on Imodium. Like everything she says has Imodium in the name. Like it's the only thing she could think about was probably how bad she had to shit. She would just take another Imodium.
Oh my God.
I don't know. So Poop Cruise in the middle of the ocean, definitely.
Nope.
I think you guys should watch it.
I don't know about that.
I'm interested.
What
I
was
was smart from 2
speaking of
girls, 1 cup.
weird TikTok conspiracy theories? I could have sworn that I heard this on this show, but that there's another theory that certain types of people are gonna evolve into just absorbing all of their waste so that they never have to poop again. Like they just
that's when you're
they become
6D.
so efficient. Is this something that came up here?
Yeah, it's
Chaney
because when
doesn't fit.
you know, when people are like really woo woo and they're like, sorry, Thomas, sorry you're so 3D. Me and Abbie are over here talking about dreams. We're trying to be 5D. You know how people always talk about this kind of thing? So one time, years and years ago, when Layla and I were in this room and everybody was just like broken and going through their like shadow work and spiritual and whatever, and it was all kinds of people in there, I was just like, I don't poop.
Yeah. I'm full of fish and it's my body.
Girls don't poop,
So
okay?
I just forgot. It was one of those things I said. I didn't think it would ever need to be re-said. Becky Brittany Pickles Spears, where later on people came to me separately and they were like, Chaney, you don't poop. Like they were like, what is your spiritual like this witch? She doesn't even poop. And so it's just funny. Like you would be like, I meditated an hour today, and I'm like, yeah, but you still poop. So stupid.
Yeah, if you only eat sunlight, do you poop sunlight?
That's what those people that eat the sun.
And then they're
What
found
about
on
the people who
camera
stand
eating
their
sun.
butthole?
I don't want to
Yeah.
mock it till I try it, but like, how do you eat the sun?
Like
How do
You
you
just,
do
if
that?
you're a breatharian, you just fart a lot, I assume.
Do I just like get myself high off
oh
of
my gosh, you're
oxygen
so
in the sun?
gassy. You probably burp and it's farty,
I wonder.
but you're not processing anything
So why does the sun make some people sneeze?
because your sinuses are warm, and so they start to melt and they move on the inside of your hairs. And
Oh, is that what happens?
I've
I'm
never
just
heard that
saying it.
before.
Oh,
Do people sneeze from sunlight?
yeah, I do. When I look at the sun, I'm like, I start sometimes sneezing if I look directly at it.
You know how like when you have soup, it like's warm. You're also looking up.
Mm.
I feel like when I look at light, my sneeze goes away.
Oh, it happens. It's a phenomena. Some people sneeze when they look at the sun, like
See?
directly at it.
I'm
Yeah.
glad there's a few of us out here.
It's clearly the only thing left for us to evolve, and then we'll be perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the things in our cult. Britney Spears doesn't shit. That's why we honor her.
That's actually
Amen.
like high level information we shouldn't be giving out. That's the type of information that can hurt somebody.
There's only 267 people here, so you guys just got some inside intel. You just got some Britney Mancy.
Britney, bitch.
In the whole idea of contact, are you into angels, aliens, demons, or is it some version of us from the past, present, or future?
Us. It's us. It's you, me, Abbie, everybody. It's the eternal.
It's just Abbie.
It's just Abbie,
I
yeah.
have a dark side.
It's just Abbie all the
Pretty
time.
demonic.
She's like, you might know me as another name, Quetzalcoatl.
Fucking bitch. That's what's up.
There's an anime series that a whole bunch of people kept suggesting that we watch. So I started watching it, and I'm not like reading ahead. I'm doing it like in order. But it's called Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I guess it was like a huge anime in the 90s. And the whole premise is that these fallen angels are coming to Earth, these Nephilim, and they're the Tartarian build. They didn't poop. Nephilim don't poop apparently. Maybe this is
We're
part
starting
of it.
it here, you guys. Secret Society, go guys. Spread it to the Nephilim Death Squad.
Well,
Spread it to Red Bricks. Tell
in
everybody
Dogma, the
when they're
angels didn't
talking
even have
about it.
genitalia.
Yeah, prove it. You have to live in a house with no bathroom. But
Yeah.
this Evangelion show, the whole premise is that like these Nephilim fallen angels come back to Earth, and the only way that humans can fight them is by essentially finding the carcasses of the fallen ones and turning them into big mech suits. So it's like fallen angels controlled by humans fighting the other fallen angels, and they do a DNA test on one of these fallen angels they're fighting, and it turns out to be like 99.8% match to human DNA, which is even closer than chimpanzees are to humans. So like that's the premise of this classic 90s anime, is that humans and Nephilim share this original source, and that the only way that you could fight them is by basically using their deceased bodies so that you can fight on a level playing field.
Necromancy.
What
I
about if
think so.
Hillary
I'm not
was
far
the
enough
good
to know.
guy? Like Hillary looking for Gilgamesh, she was really the one that was really trying to like keep America safe. She
I
was
don't know
like,
about that.
okay, that's broken philosophy. That would be a whole name of a show, Broken Philosophy, where you brought up
Remember that
ideas that were
glitch?
so crazy. Like, so was Hillary Clinton trying to save the human race? And then you
I,
go,
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I don't think that she would have been the good guy in that scenario, but it's the exact same scenario where the same way. What was it? The cloak of Nimrod, which was apparently the cloak that was put around Adam and Eve once they realized that they were naked, and this cloak gets passed down through the ages, and whoever controls it has like very real power over the material world. So that it seems like that would be, if you had infinite resources and money and time, why not pursue something wild like, you know, finding these ancient artifacts and the Spear of Destiny? Like, why did Funny Mustache Man get so obsessed over these mythical artifacts? And it seems like that's the kind of thing that you would collect when you're at that level. So, like, what does Mark Zuckerberg collect in the back rooms?
this was the article right above that other one I showed you guys, and I just zoomed past it and then went out. But look at the real reason that Burlington visited the mummies and shocking, because they're like these larger alien mummies that are curled up like this. But that is curious if it's exactly what you're saying.
Are those even real?
I don't know. I
Reminds
was
me of
wondering that
cocoon,
about
kind of.
Pompeii.
Right? They cut that open and it's cake inside.
Like, I really wonder, like, are these things real that they show us and they make up these stories? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
I do think it's kind of funny if I'm going to ride on my dinosaurs aren't real thing. I was like, the people of Pompeii are totally fake. The people of Pompeii are cement.
Yeah.
They're totally fake. They're just like, it's sculptures.
Just like everything.
Yeah, it's totally fake, but it's to make us like, look at this could happen at any time, this volcano, and just eat up a society. Be scared of it. We have to give a child to it.
I
have to
like that
sacrifice
at
something.
a certain level, we're just equating Pompeii to like the world's biggest ball of yarn. It's just like a tourist trap where it's like, go and look at all these people that died. Okay, next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe it. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm like.
They
I'm
just seem
so
like
at that
cement
point,
people. We can
like,
pull it up so everybody can.
it's all fake and it's all done for you and for me. The show. And I love it. And I hate it. And I love it. 47 minutes we've been on live. I love it. Magic 47.
And I can flick through a couple of pictures, you know, like I won't stay on one, but I'm like, this was also with like some of the stuff I've just been going over to this through the stuff they taught me, like first grade, kindergarten, second grade, that kind of stuff. And Pompeii was in one of those things.
That is concrete.
The other thing that a lot of kids don't learn about Pompeii when you're growing up, or even people, is there's dicks all over that town. Like over so many people's doors are just these huge wangs because they were all worshiping these like sexual deities and like basically doing sex magic.
So then what if Pompeii was actually Sodom or Gomorrah?
Oh, they brought it on because too many dick figurines.
Yeah, well, no, because Sodom and Gomorrah, that's exactly what was happening. They were all like into sodomy, like sodomy. They were even like raping angels and stuff. So, like, God told Lot or whatever that, you know, he could find like one right, like this first was like 40 righteous people, and he was like, no, how about 30? And I was like, all right, 30. He's like, well, how about 20? And then it was just one person, but they couldn't find one righteous person, so he smited them with sulfur or whatever, rained down sulfur and burned the city up.
Think of that though. They're not supposed to sleep with the daughters of man, is what we've always been told. What if really they got raped?
Right. They were raped.
They were wearing.
There's a story of it in the Bible. I mean, they were asking for it, Thomas. You are right.
They were just wearing like togas.
Just walking around with their nipples hard and their wings out.
That doesn't mean you're asking for it.
I'm just obviously Thomas.
They're being
I want to be a fairy, like walk around like
she's
all
a fairy,
like, you know, and just like not be harassed.
I mean,
But-
even the angels were not, even they did that. They were like catcalling, right? You would think like, oh, the angels would never know. That's who started the whole thing.
Dude, catcalling, everything. Like, I'm gonna start doing a bingo card. I know I said that, but you guys have to remind me because everything that we're talking about has been on the timeline on my algorithm.
You just have to start tweeting out the words. It
Have you
doesn't
seen
matter
those
what
women
anyone
that
else thinks.
catcall
I just
men?
put Christmas in July and April, and everyone's like, "What's this absurd autist weirdo doing?" And I'm like, "A spell. Don't worry about it."
No.
Now that July's here, I love pulling it back up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, there's a fence being put around the federal. Oh, the financial. Oh, I love this Christmas in July."
Soon, baby.
Did you guys see that in Washington? That there's a
No,
fence being put up?
I don't know anything about modern news or what's going on in the last
Well,
10 years in general.
from what I hear, there's like people who want to attack the Washington D.C. area with fertilizer. I don't know if we talked about this yet or not,
Oh, the
but
missing train.
well, underground tunnels apparently. There's agents that came from overseas, from God knows where, and they're all waiting for a cue to move forward with whatever plan. Cue.
Where at?
Washington D.C. and a few 8 major big cities. Apparently,
Look at crews are putting large anti-scale barricades around the White House and Treasury tonight.
mm-hmm.
Big news coming this weekend? Or are they just
This has got PatCon written all over it.
so curious.
Whenever
Yeah.
the word fertilizer comes up in this context, too, all I can think of is how McVeigh was absolutely a sheep-dipped insider that was put into these situations to be the catalyst. To say he was just a Lee Harvey Oswald, like that's all that these events seem to ever be. Anyone that gets far enough in these, the more and more as I learn, the more convinced I am that it is just kind of like this organized simulation by the government, and that the only times it's something on a massive scale like that goes wrong and bad, it's because it was meant to.
There is, you know how Timothy McVeigh was also at Oklahoma City or at Waco beforehand?
Right. Yeah, he was there to protest. And that's the lineage. It's supposed to be Ruby Ridge, followed by Waco, followed by Oklahoma City, and that Oklahoma City was in response directly to Waco.
Brittany posted
Weird.
About
after
Waco?
getting extremely
About
messy.
Timothy McVeigh?
After getting extremely messy with barbecue chicken wings, had the sauce
Cute.
all over my body. This is when I was playing and actually eating in Mexico.
I'm already decoding this. She's Barbie, and she's talking about Q. This is the Barbie Q phase of Britney Spears. Like, she's actually going to be the one. It's not JFK Jr. It's going to be Britney Spears. Barbie Q.
Barbecue.
Well, back to Timothy McVeigh real quick. Don't you think like something real crazy went off? Like the shot went off from inside so they could raid, and then the fire gets set and all that kind of shit that was going on. Almost like what you're saying, if it wouldn't have gone off so that the FBI could have done what they've done in there, Timothy McVeigh might have started something so that they could have. Just as an free ball wild agent off to the side. And so then they save him up. We have Oklahoma City bombing later because they didn't need that. The spark was already lit. So they were like, yay, no pun intended. Like,
I think you can legitimately, if a senator's brother ever writes a political, like, science fiction sleuth novel, read that as an actual program that is in progress. Like Ian Fleming and any of the other oh man, who's the other guy that wrote like Rainbow Six? Tom Clancy, like Tom Clancy novels and like The Firm. These are actual insider stories that get leaked out from official channels. For example, during the Timothy McVeigh trials, I believe they uncovered that some senator's brother was writing a story that beat for beat was the exact plan, but it, like, the book was being written before any of these things were actually playing out. and the main character's name, instead of being, I'm going to make up a name, instead of like Timothy McVeigh, it was like Thomas McVaney or something like that, right? Like it was the exact same thing. So clearly McVeigh himself was just the guy that filled that role, the same way that the JFK assassination had a Chicago plot and a Miami plot, and then it had the Dallas plot. Like if the Dallas one didn't come through, then they probably had another one, you know, right behind it with the exact same plan, just the city would change.
Yeah. Like, I know. That's where I think things are so compartmentalized. And some of these people in the world stage, we have no idea when they get put on the world stage. And we were talking about it yesterday a little bit, which what I think is like we are under the assumption that all the CGI and everything is in our hands now. We know it's fake. Like we know, and I'm arguing that no, Forrest Gump was mocking us and they've been changing the pictures and videos for always. Like if military technology is 50-year advance minimum, then where are they now with recreating this stuff?
Wag the Dog, right, was basically about that. Just rewind time until maybe the 40s or 50s and apply the exact same idea.
Demolition Man. That's
Yeah,
a
and
great way to look at
that
the
one
future.
scene in Demolition Man when he's got like the what is it, like the photo of like the baby and the family, and then they realize, oh my god, like it like photoshops it and it takes out all the CGI and it's just the baby in the middle of this like science room. Like we're there now. We're literally at that moment when the Demolition Man. The only thing left now is the cryogenics, right? We also have like the iris sort of thing where they have to rip
That's
your
coming.
eyeball out in order to get into a room.
Yeah. Well, another thing also, the whole exchanging bodily fluids. There's a whole trend on TikTok where women are talking about like, and I'm part of this group, okay? And it's not because I want to be
I'm part of this group.
part of yeah, so it's like not that I want to be abstinent, like it's great, like mentally I love it, but at the same time it's like I find men attractive, but I'm not attracted to them. And then I think her name was Sherry. She DM'd me and I made a whole post on it on Instagram. And I'm like, there's a whole thing on this. And I've saw maybe 7 videos of different women talking about this. Like, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? It's not my libido. Like I want to, like I can with myself and blah, blah, blah. My sexual drive is there. It's just that attraction. And then Sherry, she goes, well, they are attacking both men and women's hormones in a way where instead of like being like magnets and attracting to each other, they're altering our hormones in a way where we're just like being pushed away from each other and like repulsed by each other. And it's like they're doing this on purpose to the point where like it's okay that we're not touching anymore. It's okay that we're not kissing anymore because it becomes the new normal because of this fucking hormonal attack, I feel. And it's maybe
No, I think
inoculations.
there's something to it because it's also like there is something with the person that you're with. You love the way they smell. And they're proving that like, oh, girls on the pill, then they get off the pill and all of a sudden they can't stand their partner anymore. And so you almost wonder in that kind of way, anyone that got the vid lost their sense of smell and taste. And that was just in this aggressive form. We don't know we smell pheromones.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if everything tastes different, I keep saying this now, it's like some kind of like funny haha, but like canned chicken doesn't smell like shit. Shit smells like canned chicken. Something's like broken in my connection that I don't know, where I can't eat chicken anymore because one of my cats eats canned chicken and I can't eat any chicken anymore because shit smells like that to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ugh, whatever that smell is like, and I've never smelt it before. It's just since my smell's been back from whatever that smell is, it's like sweet shit.
I don't know. It's just odd that we're going through what we're going through. It's like a playbook has been presented to us beforehand, and it's like slowly getting us used to what is gonna, what's to come. And I feel like that's gonna be part of that. I mean, we're there. Eventually, they're gonna show the statistics like they said, no babies, fertile, not many fertile men or women out there. Yeah. Well, not fertile sperm and not viable eggs or seeds.
I wonder if that loss of smell aspect, if your body still smells, but your conscious self just doesn't connect the dots so you don't smell, or if it's completely gone. Because if it's either way, though, since the olfactory sense has our strongest attachment to memory, if you remove someone's ability to taste or smell, you're also removing their ability to access the most powerful aspects of their memory that's even available, right?
Mm,
So that's kind of wild too, to think that if there was any part of it that was orchestrated or designed, that particular side effect would have some really large ramifications.
yeah, I think so.
I think it would be the worst. I will tell you too, like even in my lesbian world, there was a time that when Jules was a vegan, I did not like the way she smelled, like in general. And since she's been eating meat again, I am like, ah. And so I even wonder, like a family that breaks different bread, like the dad's at work all day eating out of the vending machine, the mom and the kids are at home eating. I think when you're putting in different ingredients, you're eventually building like your cells away from each other. I think there's like more to eating the same food as the people in your people. You should
Yeah.
eat the same as your people.
Well, that's how we used to eat back in the day. It was like in a circle. We call it a sofra, family style, all eating out of that one pan. It was like, but it was a huge meal. And then you had your soups and then the other options of sides, and everyone ate exactly the same. Not one person's like, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I had that. There's a saying, you can't leave the eye hungry. It does something chemically to people when they want something and they desire something, especially like food wise. It's a weird superstition, but that want and desire for what the other person has plays a part in how magically or chemically the food goes down. There's a whole process on how this works in that juju kind of way, but I see how family style is more beneficial, sitting together, the family, not worried about what the other person's
Because
eating, who
I'm
has more, who
enjoying
has.
myself watching
Yeah.
you enjoy yourself. And because
Yeah.
we're in circle, we all get the same view of everybody eating. Like
Yeah.
we're all content in this moment. Like it's a gratitude.
No.
Not to bring poop back up, but this seems related to
Let's
that
back away if
whole
we're going to talk
premise
about
of like
shit.
someone that loves to smell their own farts. Like that's a nod to the idea of I like you never heard that? I'm sure
No,
everyone's heard
no.
that before.
Yeah, I've heard it.
But it's because it's a feedback loop. It's you unconsciously telling yourself like, hey, here's how everything's going right now. Because if you're offended by your own smell, usually it's telling your reptilian brain or somewhere deep beyond our conscious selves that, hey, there's a problem worth looking into right now, versus like, oh, you don't mind your own smell, but everyone else might mind it. But if the entire family or the entire community is all eating the exact same diet, then now you're all doing a feedback loop check on each other. Now, if like
Yeah.
that person smells, like, what have you been eating that's like not part of this like communal experience?
Yeah.
That is true. Like, or think of if we're all eating the same thing. If your farts smell different, or if you're sick, if something's wrong with your body, it's going to smell different. And now we're like, oh,
The
something's
fuck's
wrong with
wrong with
you.
you?
Yeah. Like the
That's
whole village knows. You're like, that's me right now. The whole
that's
village
me right
knows.
now.
The whole village is
My
aware.
gut ain't right. That's it. So it tells me. But it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. I fucking know it. You know how I know? My Vedic astrology said that I'm gonna have 3 kids. What? So I'll be all right.
Have you ever
So
done that
Vedic.
needle test?
The needle test or
Yeah.
the thing with the
Acupuncture?
You have a thread and a needle, and I don't remember if you do
I
it on
thought
the
it was with
back
a
of your
ring, a
hand or
gold
a
ring.
palm, but maybe it's just a certain amount of metal, like something conductive over you.
Yeah.
But almost you hang a pendulum over yourself,
Yeah,
but
and
you pull it up off yourself. And I don't
yeah.
remember, but if it goes like side to side, it's a boy, and a circle a girl, or vice
Uh-huh.
versa.
Yeah.
I swear. I had that needle test. Somebody did it with a needle because we saw like someone's grandma did it, like it was something that passed down in their family. So it was like something that came up at a party one time, and everybody was doing it with how many kids they were going to have. And maybe we were like 17,
Yeah.
and this thing pulled up, and it was just like this.
Yeah.
It's just dead straight. And I
That
really,
doesn't move.
that day, like I was just totally satisfied. Like, oh, I'm never having kids. Like that thing could have brainwashed me, but it was just like a contract that I was like, all right, whatever you come up with, I agree with. And then I was like, all right, good.
You saying magic made you gay?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like you could be straight and not have any kids.
Yeah. I don't
I
want
think
any.
so.
Impossible.
I don't want any.
Not how it works.
I know all the. Maybe
can't
you're gay,
sacrifice
Layla, is what
myself
Thomas
anymore.
is saying.
No, I'm not.
I know.
I
Layla's
just don't
not
want
gay, everyone.
kids. I don't know. It's just, I think we're in limbo. After 2020, something happened.
Have
we're
you
just in
tried
limbo.
kefir, Layla?
Yeah, I
I
drink
feel
it
like
almost every
anything
day.
you guys are gonna send Layla, anything.
She's tried it.
She's tried it. But
Oh yeah, I went for 3 days just drinking that, and I was bloated like a motherfucker. Did not do shit for me.
she's diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
She's every
Fucking
anyone's
parasite
culture-
cleanse, heavy metal cleanse, ginger drinks.
Have you
I'm doing
tried
baking soda and lemon in the morning.
have you tried salvia?
Oh my god, I'm never doing
Just
that.
saying. I'm just saying it's one thing that you haven't tried yet.
I wonder if they'll tell me like the answer to like my healing if I were to take salvia.
This cup is inspired by Robert Anton Wilson's.
No, I need ayahuasca.
book.
That would be great. Talk to mother.
See, but ayahuasca will definitely make you feel sick.
Yeah,
and you'll
I think
throw
that's what
up
I
and
need.
vomit. Maybe,
Purge,
yeah. You might
purge
have
it
to
all out and like fucking barf my brains out.
I know a guy that runs the largest ayahuasca retreat, I think, in Colombia. That would be happy to give you the full treatment.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I would so like to do that. I'll see if like anybody wants to come with me because I don't think I could go by
Let's
myself.
talk. I mean, sounds like a GoFundMe that we could get a lot of people behind. Let's send Layla to
Send
Colombia
Layla
to do
fucking-
ayahuasca.
yeah, and maybe I can like meet Mother Nature or whatever, the void, and they'll give me the answer to what the fuck is going on. And maybe I could purge it out. That would be great. And I could document the whole thing. Chaney, you down for an ayahuasca trip?
I don't know. I'm not anti an ayahuasca trip. I'd rather, this is what
Whole
I've really
retreat.
been thinking in the salvia or whatever, Thomas. Was it salvia you just said?
So I would prefer salvia because
What was
it's
the
like
other one you just said?
ayahuasca.
That's the one you go flat, right? Salvia?
Salvia is the one that you go flat, yeah.
I've really had this theory that I think the gods, whatever the lowercase gods are, the Jupiter, the Saturn, they've come from the 2D. And so when you take salvia, you become 2D and you're huge compared to them, like because you're all flattened out and like that. And we exist in the 3D. And then those other psychedelics help you see in the 4D.
Maybe
If you
peyote.
take enough of them, you might not poop.
Have you taken peyote? Peyote, whatever?
No, but there's a Indian reservation in Florida, and I don't know if it was like a spiritual thing or a rave. I have no idea what was going on there, but one of my guy friends went and he got peyote. It was like a 3-day show. And the only thing I remember him telling me about the experience and stuff is that he said he fell asleep that night and woke up the next day still all the way on peyote.
Holy shit.
Mescalito is what
It's
they
like
call
one
it.
of the things where I'm just like, what would that be? Where you fall asleep
I would love that.
and wake up in a whole new reality where he's like, you settle on, this is my new reality. Like you actually go crazy for a little bit and then you're like, okay, this is just me now.
Because it puts you in the second attention. It's like that's what they use to, like the Don Juan use it to introduce Carlos to the second attention. Carlos Castaneda was peyote, but they call it mescalito because you're not supposed to call a drug by its name. You're supposed to call it something else. So they never called it peyote. They called it mescalito.
Is peyote its real name?
Yeah, but it's an entity, so it's disrespectful. They all are. Like, really, you shouldn't call marijuana either. That's why they call it pot, trees, all the other.
But is
little
that its
things.
real name? Marijuana?
Perhaps.
Call it Bud.
No, but it's like
My
who,
buddy.
like somebody named it like somewhere, like its original name. Like
the
we're not going to call it
scientific
this.
name
We're
of
not going to
her.
call it this.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it this. We're not going to call it this. But it's like
We're gonna call it marijuana. Why? Why?
Juana Mary.
Cool Whip. Whip.
Is it
But
just me, or do almost all psychedelics seem like they are feminine, like feminine quality?
I think
Acid
mescalito
feels
is a
masculine.
Acid is more masculine. Yeah, I was
Acid
gonna say
feels-
that.
Yeah, and maybe Coke. Coke feels like, or not Coke. Oh, yeah, Coke. It feels
I
like
don't know
I'm
if
like,
Coke counts.
I feel like I could lift. Like,
Yeah.
I want to
It's
lift
a
this
plant.
up.
It's plant medicine still.
Not psychedelic though. That one's more
Psychedelic,
of
yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, maybe acid though, but that's still man-made compared to all the plant medicines.
Well, I mean, even the original acid, the LSD that was the fungus on ergot, that was attributed to the goddess Demeter. So even,
I like
mean,
that,
that's
guys.
still, it's all feminine all the way down. It seems like maybe mushrooms.
Demeter.
I think
I
maybe
think
mushrooms
Datura
might
is-
be the one masculine.
Well, peyote's masculine too.
Is it really?
Yes, mescalito, because lito is like a male.
Oh, fair
I
point.
always see a male.
Jim Belushi talks about his whole experience with peyote, and he describes it in
Green
full
Man.
detail. And he talks about how he is sitting in this it looks like a CEO's office, and then there's that CEO chair, but he was sitting on the opposite side of it, and then everyone, all of the different like entities of spirit, like greed, fear, happy, whatever, all those different energies or spirits of what he becomes in his reality, all sat in their different chairs, and they were all speaking to him. But he realized that these people, whoever's sitting in the CEO seat, is running the show at the moment. So he was having an interaction with all of the entities of that energy, and he realized that I need to be sitting in the driver's seat. And then when let's say fear, like something happens, all of a sudden fear sits in the driver's seat, and then these things happen, and fear says, look, I sat and I did this for you, and I protected you because you were afraid. So it's like these things, these attributes that we have as human beings, you get to experience that deeper with peyote. Apparently you meet the entities that live within you or who rule you at the moment, which is fascinating.
It's wild that it's illegal, because it doesn't seem like it would be habit forming in the same way that you would usually expect drugs to be.
Well, that's why
Peyote, I think it was mail order. You could order it over the mail in the
It's
1880s
legal.
to like the 40s.
it is legal at powwows and stuff. So Native Americans, it's legal for Native Americans to do it in like a shaman setting.
Yeah, but
Usually,
like
like,
that's like one of
yeah.
those concession things. Like, you guys get casinos and peyote if you just leave us
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah, that's so true.
Sure.
You said Green Man. I didn't know Green Man was peyote.
Peyote's green man, yeah. And he
Yeah,
looks
and then
like a
there's
cactus.
purple woman.
No,
Is it-
I thought Green Man was like a whole different alchemy thing. I didn't know it was peyote at all. Like, that's
Well,
interesting.
yeah, that
Just-
the entity
Well, also
of it
purple
is-
woman, also with peyote though, because that's who
I'm just-
Jim Belushi meant, purple woman.
I know, I'm just going off all the Carlos Castaneda stuff, and he wrote his dissertation on it pretty much on peyote, on plant medicine. So like that, the little token datura. So like he kind of like that was when he was like an actual student in university, and he wrote his dissertation on it. His first book is his dissertation.
and he just calls it the Green Man, or compares it to the Green Man?
No,
Or
no, like Don Juan like told him that each one is a separate entity, and that's why it's like almost disrespectful to call it by their name. So you never call it by their name, especially if you're ingesting it. And then he said you're going to meet Mescalito, so you're going to meet him, and he didn't tell him what he looked like or anything like that. So when Carlos came out, he explained that he kind of looked green and he looked like a cactus, like peyote buttons are green and they're because they're a cactus. So
I believe
it's a green man.
Shane Moss was his name. I think. Have you guys heard of him? He talks about like all these like psychedelic trips. He has like a whole channel on it, and he talks about this purple woman, and he calls her. I think it was DMT. Yeah, it was DMT. Okay, not peyote. There you go. DMT is the purple woman. Okay,
The blue man.
yeah, the purple woman. And he has a whole fucking episode of how like he trips on DMT, and every time he trips on DMT, he meets this purple woman, and that's his DMT girlfriend. Like now they're like every time they meet, it just gets more intense and more intense, and like
pretty serious.
yeah, you guys have to check it out. It's fascinating, really. I'm just like, what? You have a relationship with the fucking entity in DMT world? Okay, cool.
I can relate in those terms with the salvia because, again, salvia has that inverse tolerance aspect where every time you do it, you get there quicker and you understand what you're doing. Like you have better footing. Like you've been through this maze before. You know which door to take. It's like playing Zelda and knowing how to go through like the magic woods. And then the quicker you get there, the more time you have to spend with, I'll just say, the entities there. And then you can start like getting to know them better because you're not spending as much time getting lost in the woods on the way there. It's such a weird way to phrase it, especially to someone that hasn't been through this like weird experience.
Tripped with Shane in Boston. Yeah, the Shane guy is like pretty well known. He talks about all the fucking psychedelics. It's pretty interesting. And he actually does them and he shares his experience. I'm just like, you make me want to do drugs, my friend.
Well, it is so interesting to me as like, okay, you're going to this other planet, so to speak, on this drug, and you're going to have to learn how like the rules work in this planet before you're going to get any real information over here. And so in that tolerance that you're also building, it's almost like in the dream way, how the dream starts waking up to you, they start accepting you more in the realm. Like, oh, he's here again. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Like you become a fixture to them
Yeah,
a little
like
more.
47, he talks about it and with his experiences and meeting the machine elves. And that's a fascinating story. Like he talks about going to their world and how they live in like little domes and they're just like little machines who are making toys and those toys make toys and those toys make toys. It's like they're always building and those, whatever they build and whatever that thing builds. So it's like
It's a fractal.
Yeah, they build. They're the builders of what we actually fucking witness. Like we're created to build what we see, supposedly.
In the same way we're kind of scared of AI, we're like, where the data. Could mushrooms or peyote or salvia or any one of these things, could it be a form of AI that's trying to gather all of our data?
Well, that's the Paul.
But we don't put it in our hand as much as the phone?
Paul Stamets is the one that I think says that mushrooms are actually just one big mushroom, and it's the largest neural network and the oldest neural network that's ever existed, and that the only reason that humans exist are so that we can spread mushrooms throughout the rest of the world and perhaps the universe, if you believe in the universe, that we're just a tool created by mushrooms because they've been around longer.
Because they are fractal, literally.
Well, and a lot of
That
people,
theory. It's interesting.
like how many people maybe are giving whatever data of themselves at such a like visceral core level on these psychedelic experiences, like something so much deeper than it would take the AI maybe, years and years and years to figure out that part of your psyche, what this psychedelic can figure out in a few hours. And it also, you're having a collective trip the same way we do online with whoever else might have done that drug. So you even almost wonder over the years, could the land of mushrooms have been a far different place 200 years ago than the land we experience today? or the land of DMT, how it used to be so scarce that people got DMT. Now they just get a pen and they can microdose DMT all day. Where it used to be like you'd hit DMT. You didn't just like, I'm just going to have a bump of DMT. It was like, there's only one way in and there's no way out. Now you can just like, I can just kind of.
You know what I think? I think because of the lack of female trees that are being planted and cut, it is affecting the mushroom system. I don't know why this popped into my head, but I feel like because they're rooted in the system in the, the psilocybin, the mushroom world or whatever you want to call it.
Mycelium, yeah.
There you go, the mycelium world.
Your
They
celium.
need that. They need the
Mine.
female aspect, and that's what goes with
Abbie
the pollen, and then the rot, and then it's like the cycle is not complete. It's off and imbalanced, I feel, and that's why we're seeing a lot of what we're going through with candida and this and that and mold and all of this weird shit. And it's mainly mold. It's fungus. Why? Because I feel like it's imbalance.
Have you guys noticed when you have like a joint trip with somebody that like on acid, and then
Mhm.
after a while, like after you peak and you start to you're coming down, but you're just chill, you're on the flow with them. Like you almost feel like you are reading each other's minds, and you're on the exact same spot, and you can actually like almost non-verbally communicate and know exactly what the other person's talking about.
100%. And their dog.
Yes, absolutely. You're like one
that
with all of
dog
it.
knows exactly what I'm thinking and feeling right now, and it is
I know what it's
so,
thinking and
like,
feeling too.
in
Yeah.
tune that it doesn't, like, I don't have to talk to it, and it doesn't have to talk to me. Like, we're connected.
Well, elephants do
amazing.
it. They earth bend. Okay. Apparently, like the way that they put their hooves on the ground, they can search for their family just through the earth. And I feel like because of the imbalance, it's just harder and harder for them to do it because of the mycelium system helps be that, like, I guess, laser to track where everything is, in a sense.
Or like vibrations almost. Like,
Yeah,
think
it
of how
knows.
any of it moves, how easily it would move under the step of anything. It would know where everything else was.
grid.
And
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's like a character on there who's blind. Her name is Toph, and she's like the greatest earthbender because she stomps on the ground and she can see where everything is. She knows,
That's awesome. I've seen a few, like, I tell everyone to watch it because I think it gets your head. It's just like a filter you should put on in your brain, and it's Stanley's Superhumans, and it's just like a whole bunch of different people. Like he's really just an old man and does the like William Shatner over it. But they go through and they interview a whole bunch of people with the superhuman abilities. And there's this one guy, and he's called Bat Boy, and he's completely blind, but he rides a bike all the way through his town. He doesn't have any help or anything, and he clicks and like makes this sound, and he can hear his sound echo off things, but he can do it good enough to ride a bike, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
But I just think that's how special we are, is like you lose one thing and something else gets 3 times the amount of power that one thing had before.
And that's how I feel about having a job. Like, if we
Same.
didn't have jobs, you would have like literally 20 times the amount of focus to put into almost anything else. And you become like Daredevil. You become like the kid clicking his mouth as he's driving around on a bike.
Everything that we go through right now with our MK Ultra, all of us with all the screens we have on and the television and the radios and blah, blah, blah. Do you think that the schools for the blind and the schools for the deaf are specifically studying the people without those things? Because do you think a person who can't see the TV is less likely to be MK Ultra?
I was just thinking about this fucking deaf lady. That's so fucking weird that you just said that. Like literally just now. Wow. What was your question again? I'm sorry.
Do you think that like the same as ours, if Rockefeller education systems, like theirs have to be even more nefarious. And so in St. Augustine, Florida, one of the places where there's a star fort and all these flagler buildings, these monolithic structures, they're also really famous for having like, I think a school for the blind there. But I think there's also schools for the deaf, and they're akin to me in a way of insane asylums. And it's not because those people are crazy. I think they're like superior than us in a way that they're being studied or drank. And I know that
Yeah.
like vampiric things are happening to them, but I wonder for deaf and blind people what their energy tastes like different than ours. If I can't show you something to scare you, I can't show you Freddy Krueger or a gory scene, how do I scare you? And so can I put a sound in your ear to scare you? And that's a whole different. So it seems to me like deaf people, different than blind people, different than us, we're going to be different in our ways of MK Ultra. If they could study deaf and blind people, then it would be even more effective on my sense of hearing if they studied a deaf person, or on my sight if they studied a blind person.
Well, what's interesting is blind people still dream, and like I met this lady because we used to run a clubhouse room called the Dream Lab, and she would come in and chat sometimes, and she was blind, but she was a great lucid dreamer, and I always found it so fascinating because you can't compare it to sight because she has no knowledge of what sight actually is, but she would have these elaborate dreams and even wake up in her dreams. It was awesome.
Did she ever describe her dreams? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
were they like
that was the
accurate
nature of the
to-
Dream Lab, is like dream sharing, and then sometimes we'd interpret, and other times we'd just talk about cool dream things that we
That
do. So
blows my mind for them not ever seeing what anything ever is ever in their life, like complete blackness, not to know what color is, none of that, and to be able to have a dream and see things and try to describe that to people. Are there similarities to what they describe, or
well, that's
are
the
they
thing, is
just
that she couldn't describe color. She couldn't describe what things actually look like, because she's never
okay?
seen things. So she doesn't
Mhm.
have that context, but she's still having the experience. Which I have a lot of dreams where a lot of my lucid dreams, I am blind. I actually have to tell
Let's
the
talk
dream I
about
want to see.
dreams for a
Yeah,
little bit.
I need a dream lab analysis because I
Yeah.
had a crazy breakthrough just last
Hold
night.
on, let me play the Dream Lab song. Welcome to the Dream Labs. Abby's gonna break down dreams. Maybe if you have a dream you need breakdown, you could drop it in the comment section. Go,
Oh
Abby.
yeah.
And a super chat.
Give detail though, because if you don't,
And a
no
super
good.
chat, or spend money at paranoidamerican.com.
Either one of those is sufficient.
Period.
Okay.
And without getting into like the boring details of like this dream, the part that was fascinating to me is because I've been doing reality checks for the last couple of years, and it's still not easy to like
When you're
really break through
sleeping, or
them.
when you're dreaming, or when you're awake?
When I'm awake, well, both. I mean, that's the point, is that you
Yeah,
do
that's
it
the
so
point. You do it
often
when
while
you're
you're
awake.
awake.
So you
So
do it when you're
one of
dreaming.
those reality checks is that I look at a word and I look away and I look back at the word. That's one of like many different ones, because I've always heard that in a dream, if you read text and then you look away and you look back at it, it won't say the same thing, or the letters will get jumbled
Wait a
around.
minute, that happens in my reality.
So, well, I mean, maybe maybe you're in a
What
dream. Who knows?
the fuck?
Isn't that one of the conventional reality checks though, to see? And I know we've talked about dream hacking and how people use these like workarounds and exploits. So I was in a dream and I was doing this, and I knew for sure I was in a dream, because it was like one of those things where someone gets really lucky. I think like my friend got published and we're in New York and we're like at this big book signing, like everything is going right. It's like, wait a minute, it's too good to be true. Like that was what first hinted me off to maybe I'm dreaming. But I started doing this reality check where I'm looking at text on billboards or on menus or on walls, looking away and looking back, and it's staying exactly the same. And I kept doing it over and over again, but I also knew that this had to be a dream. And I looked to someone, and the whole premise was that we had flown into New York in order to do this book signing. And I was like, what airline did we fly in on? What was the flight number? What time did we leave? Because I don't remember being on the plane. Everything else was so real. And the second I started questioning that, there was like an aggression. It was like, don't worry about what flight we came in on. Don't ask about. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, this is a lucid dream. And I was able to do anything I wanted. And I was like just playing around and having fun in this lucid dream. But it never have I ever been to that point when you mentioned it's like the second gate or the second something or other, when the dream starts realizing I'm reality checking it, so it starts like playing along and trying to counter those reality checks. Like, what the hell is going on?
So the nature of the dream, just like reality. So the point of lucid dreaming is to learn to be lucid while you're awake, because that's where your power is. So um, in lucid dreaming, it's a program. You got to figure it's a program, and you got to figure these are all NPCs around you. There are actual entities and people in dreaming, but it's a program that's designed to keep you asleep, just like in reality. Like that's what, like, left versus right, red pill, blue
Illusion.
pill, fucking politics, sports, all that is designed to keep you asleep, to keep your attention, to like steal your attention and your focus. And so the dream though has about like 5 programs, and each NPC in there has a script. And when you divert from the script, it's trying to pull you back into the script and like put you back to sleep. And it does happen sometimes. You'll lose your lucidity just like that. You'll forget that you're dreaming, or that you're awake, while you'll forget that that you're dreaming, and you go back into the program of the dream. And so that's what it's really trying to get you to do, is to go back to sleep. But when you're good enough at focusing your attention, it's not going to be able to do that, and it doesn't know what to do. So the first gate of dreaming, actually approaching, so actually that is the conquering the first gate of dreaming. So the first gate of dreaming begins with finding your hands in a dream. So that's how you approach the gate. Like, so once you're there and you find your hands in a dream, you've approached the gate. And you don't even necessarily have to do that, but to pass through the first gate of dreaming, you have to stabilize the dream. So that means like you're supposed to look at an object and then look away and then look back and see if it changes. You're trying to get it to stay. So the first time I did it intentionally, like I was looking out at a lake, and there was like this guy in green jet skiing, and there was actually, it was water skiing. He's being pulled by a boat. There was a duck, and there was another, like, a stick floating in the water. So you're supposed to look at like 3 items. You're supposed to like glance, glance, glance. And so the fact that you were looking at different words on different things and then looking away, that's, you were doing the exact thing without ever being taught how to do it. So I would look at the duck, I would look at the guy skiing, and then I would look at the stick, and then I would look away, and I'd look back, and they would stay the same. So that's stabilizing the dream. So if I can keep glancing away and then looking back and keep them the same, then I've conquered the first gate of dreaming. So about my 3rd time, they switched. Like the guy went from wearing green to red, and I was like, motherfucker. But it doesn't matter. Regardless, I freaking did it, and you did it too. So you passed through the first gate of dreaming.
Well, how do we
So
get to
then
the 3rd gate?
it's
Because I
third
almost
gate.
felt like I had him on the ropes a little bit, but it was effort and a lot of work. And I was like, you know what? If this is a lucid dream, let me just go and have a little bit of fun. And I just like started doing like
I do.
crazy shit that you can't do in normal life.
I always
And
do.
that was
I'm like
like the
gonna walk through
distraction. That
walls,
was what
or
kept me asleep.
yeah. I try to do as many things as possible once I'm lucid. Like I want to do the like gates of dreaming and stuff, but I've done them all. A 3rd gate of dreaming, I think, is finding your body, your
Wait,
physical
Abbie,
body.
how this is one of the funny things. How long do they say that all these steps take a person, and then what did you do because you're hard headed? And so tell Thomas, you even when you went, you thought in the book for a minute, then you thought I didn't take that long. So
No.
tell everybody how long they say it takes.
It, a lot of these people, it takes a long, long time, because it takes a lot of energy, and you have to free up your energy. You have to be pretty like emotionally, because you have to fuel your energetic body, because it's
But
a
doesn't it say
separate
something in the
body.
book like don't expect any of this for like a decade? And you were like,
Yeah,
I did it
I
in
mean, I
six
think it took
months.
Carlos like a whole year to find his hands in a dream. And then to pass through the first gate of dreaming was like a while later. It took him like 10 years to do like the 4 gates of dreaming. And it's like, I've done all that stuff. Some of it I was already doing and I didn't even mean to, but women are different than men. Guys have to go linearly, and they have to pass through each one step by step by step. A woman, we don't have to. We can go straight to gate 4, and then we can do gate 1. We can do whatever it is. Like, we're just natural dreamers. But also, that's the thing. So the program of the dream is run by these inorganic beings, and they don't like me very much, actually. So when I'm lucid, they're bitchy with me. But with a man, they're trying to trap. They're all female. So they're trying to trap the men there. So like they want your attention. They want to like hook you in and get you there and to keep you there. So there's actually more risk for a man in lucid dreaming than for a woman because they generally don't want to keep us there. But like, and so they're not as like friendly to me because I've actually seen them now too. Like you can get them to read to you, like reading a book or whatever, the words change and they don't look right. You can just say, I want you to read it to me. And then they'll sit there and read you the whole entire book. But they get bitchy with me. So when I'm like, read me this book, they'll go, this, I'm like, I can't fucking hear you. Read louder. And then they're like, dun, 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 dun. Like they're always like bitchy with me. And I'm like, maybe it's because I'm bitchy, but it's like they just
I
don't
have
want to
a real
help me out.
question. So
Yeah.
if we were saying nightmares and succubus and like mare being a female horse word, and like you're saying like these kind of ladies in this realm, in the way of the drugs, do you think the dream realm's kind of a sacred realm and it's been a certain way for however amount of time, and now we're at this digital point and they are also aware that you're saying these things right here, right now.
Yeah,
And
they're
so
aware.
you're giving secrets away in a way that is big, like to the dream realm for everyone. Like you're giving secrets away in our realm about their realm, and they're aware that you're doing that in this big time way. So maybe they're just a little catty with you.
They're always catty with me. They are. Yeah, that's probably why. Because I talk about it enough that it's like, look, bitch, you're not supposed to give away our secrets.
You know what's interesting about all of this? Time, okay? Now, in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they had one of these demons, and how they trapped these people in their sleep and put them into another reality was this tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. That's the trap. Time is the trap. The clock is the trap. When you ask in your dream, in the dream realm, anytime you ask what time it is, you're going to get a fucking bad motherfucking reaction in that dream. When you ask that simple question, what time it is, and you're going to get looked at weird. So it's like, that is the trick, the clock, the ticking, and how to trap and put people back to sleep. It's like this rhythmic tick, tock, tick, tock.
Do you think there's something different? Like, because I will just say, as a person that I just like really admire people who dream. And like, I think it's a superpower because I know how little I do it. And then lucid dreaming, I know how even like smaller a percentage that's ever happened to me. So when I hear these things, I just got to think that like there's more to it. And I always see everyone always bring up the black and white thing. Do you dream in black and white or color? And the fact I say that people dream in black and white before because of black and white TV.
Yeah.
And they dream in color now because we have more color screens in front of us. And I think it might be easier for us to see clocks now because of how much we've seen clocks. And like, but then it makes me think, what are they doing to this realm? Like, how different did it look before all these screens? Before it was black and white, before people dreamed in black and white, what did it look like then?
Depending our type of sun that we had, the hue for the hue man. Fucking, I don't know what we live on anymore.
I think what's wild to me is that, like you were just saying, the minority of people that even remember their dreams, then it's a smaller minority that remember them and even care about them and think about them, and then even smaller about people that go into lucid dreaming and reality checks and get far. And for something that every single person does that's been around since forever, that's so unknown, we give it such little importance, you know, like for a large majority of people talking about dreams or interacting with dreams, you might as well be talking about aliens or Bigfoot or mermaids.
Oh, it's just a dream. Oh, it's just a dream. But life
Yeah,
is
well,
but a
even
dream.
your regular dreams are totally pointing to shit you need to integrate and deal with.
Which is a third of your life,
stuff
right?
you have to heal in your body. Yeah, because your subconscious is your body. And there was something I wanted to say about the black and white TV in the dream realm, but hopefully it'll come back to me because it's, yeah. But your subconscious is your body. So your body has no language to tell you what's going on. So it talks to you in metaphor and in wordplay. Like berry, like a strawberry would be like a wordplay for berry, like something you buried. Like
It speaks to
dog,
you in inside jokes of the
it
language
does
you know,
constantly.
of the
Yes.
songs you know, of the cartoons you've seen, of the shows you've watched. It speaks to you in your exact language because it knows you.
Yeah. Dogs are almost always like your warped vision of God. It's a reversal of God. And what's cool is right now I've just decided I'm gonna train my chat GPT to like interpret dreams my way. So I'm giving it all these little filters and stuff like, okay, now like when I say this, or like if I say ice or snow or something in a dream, if you see that theme, then I want you to look at the injustice soul wound. If you see this and this, that it means this. And now I'm feeding it dreams, and it's like it's pretty damn profound. It's
Well,
awesome.
this is the exact same way, like a lot of psychics or any people in their kinesis, whatever their thing is, they have symbols and they try to explain. I always tell people to go look at like Teresa Caputo, even though she might be a charlatan. The words she's using are that of, I'm seeing a horse. Now, horses could mean horses, but for me, they always mean New Jersey.
Yeah.
And that's how I
Right.
think everything is. So it's like Abbie's having a dream. Some people, maybe they can kind of put themselves in some sort of hypnotic or kind of lucid state where they seemingly are more awake. But when you look at, people that are sometimes having these experiences, they kind of seem like Layla would say for a long time, I get soft eyes when I'm feeling this like psychic-y type, or when you feel like, oh, the universe is talking to me right now, or oh, God's giving me whatever
You
thing.
zone out.
You're zone out, and you almost are like looking at the world through your like eyelashes a little bit.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
so,
start to see purple usually. Everything goes in a shade of purple.
so I don't know, and that's where I was gonna say like all these signs and symbols where you're like it's something you need to integrate.
Yeah.
Is the lucid thing once they wake up, do they become separate of you and now it's a different journey?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. So when you talked about the black and white TV of it all, the dream realm is literally a film roll archive. It is. That's where the idea of film came from the dream realm. And so that's why sometimes when you're dreaming, you're not yourself. And you might think you're you because you're you, right? But if you go look in a mirror, you don't look like you. You're somebody else, and you're experiencing something that happened in their life or one of their alternate timelines that never happened. So if you want to think in terms of like
Demons. We're demons.
no, I'm talking in terms of the what's it called? The Akashic. It is the Akashic. It is it's the infinity archive. It holds every past, present, and future of everything on Earth. And everything that never ever happened. All the in-betweens, every alternate reality. So that's why sometimes you look like you are you, but you look totally different. And it's not exactly a memory. It happens a little bit different. Or your friend's there, but your friend looks like is normally white, but they're black in this version. And that's because it's an alternate film roll. So
Yeah.
you're experiencing things through another film roll. And so the fact that you
scroll.
made the correlation between black and white TV to color TV, well, look, it's a film roll archive.
Yeah, we're demons.
Layla in the background.
Look what we're doing to this
That's
realm.
the shit that always makes me laugh when I'm listening to podcasts and stuff. Like the one thing on a mic that just goes by the wayside that nobody hears. Demons. We're demons.
I sounded like that lady.
I'm all serious.
She's
Oh
not
yeah,
Christian.
dreams. Like this is so demons. Demons. And I
Okay,
thought
well,
she was
speaking of demons, let me tell you about what happened to me last night. So I kind of touched on it, but like I didn't tell you guys all of it. So, and the audience didn't hear any of it. So my daughter is in Atlanta right now. She is like doing some big old thing for school, and she calls me at 1:00 in the morning, and I'm sleeping. I gotta work today and everything. She's like, "Mom, I'm so freaking scared. I need you to talk to me right now." Like, what happened? What's going on? She's like, I just had a nightmare. She's like, I'm freaking out. She's like, I'm so terrified. I was like, okay, well, tell me what happened. And she said, Well, I dreamt I'm in this room and there's like in our room, our hotel room with her and her roommate, but then there was two other girls there and they're from another school. And a teacher came in and was like, "You guys got to go. This is not your room." So the girls are kind of being shitty to her and they got up in her face and their faces turned into clowns and they started screaming in her face. So she starts screaming and she's like, she wakes up and she's like looking up and there's a clown in her face screaming in her face. And so like she has sleep paralysis. She can't move and she's freaking the fuck out over this thing and it says her name. So then she's like able to move her body, then she calls me. She's like, "My phone's gonna die. I'm afraid to even like plug it in." I was like, "No, get up and plug it in. I'm not on the phone." I stay on the phone with her all night. Like she wanted it on speakerphone. She finally went to bed, but like she wanted it to keep on the phone call. So this is what tripped me out. So I've been watching that show Legacies, right? And I'm in season 4, and the episode I happened to watch last night, there's a monster that was a demonic fucking clown. So then my daughter sees a demonic clown. She had no idea. I didn't talk to her on the phone last night, and it was like right before I went to bed. And one thing that trips me out about this show is that like it has the word legacies, right? But it always has the title screen and it starts with a circle around GACI and then it goes out like Gacy, like John Wayne Gacy, right? So that's kind of tripped me out this whole time because it's on every episode like that. They might change it a little bit, but it always pans from GACI all the way out to legacies. So then this morning I'm out talking to my neighbor and I'm telling her, I didn't even tell her about any of that. I just told her Brianna called me last because I missed work today. Long story short, I did not wake up. I totally missed my alarm. It wasn't a big deal, but now I gotta work Monday. But I was up all night with my daughter. So I'm telling my neighbor's like, "Yeah, I didn't go to work because my daughter had a nightmare about this clown. She had sleep paralysis." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's so weird." She's like, "I was just watching TV and this whole thing about John Wayne Gacy came on where he was dressing up like the clowns." And I was like, that's really freaking weird because I was watching this show and they had like demonic clowns last night. So then it gets even weirder. I'm talking to Brittany Pickle Spears earlier, and she's like, "I couldn't sleep at all last night. She had a rough night." She's like, "And so did my friend. She sent me her dream. Look at this." And her dream literally said, "I was having like nightmares about clowns." I was like, "What the fuck? Okay, this is weird." That's 4. Then my daughter goes to her little conference thing today, gets back to the hotel, sends me 2 pictures. She's like, "Mom, right when we pulled up to the hotel, there's a van and all 3 windows are painted clowns." I'm like, "The fuck?" This like because I have a whole other theory on sleep paralysis that has nothing to do with demons. Like, I think that the sleep paralysis demon that's usually sitting on your chest is your energetic body, because the whole purpose of lucid dreaming is to like find and perfect your energetic body, because it's not perfect, especially if you don't do any of your trauma healing, your shadow work. It's gonna look like a little fucking demon sitting on you. So I think that's generally what it is, but I don't. Oh, but
Yeah,
then when
then
she was on the phone with me,
oh,
she was like, her friend, her roommate, I kept hearing somebody go, "Mama," and I was like, "What? What's going on? What's wrong?" And she's like, "No, that wasn't me. That's my roommate. She must be having nightmares too."
damn.
I was like, "What the hell is
Yeah,
going
but
on here?"
eventually, once you like she said, you do the shadow work, that demon doesn't look like a demon anymore.
Yeah.
It just looks like a iridescent, like I want to say angel, but it looks like you could see it's an entity. It's very transparent and iridescent, like a
Eventually,
bubble.
it's supposed to be your double, so you
Hmm.
can bilocate.
Yeah. So it's like an outline of a thing, almost looks alien, but it's just really like a thin version of a human. Put it that way, like a scrawny version of a human. That's what it was, but transparent. And that
Um,
was the last time I seen it.
Real quick, Abby, I always think this is amazing. And the way you remember dreams, like little tips, Riggs is like, I can never remember my dreams like Abby. Neither can Abby. But she has little tips. And I think like the phone thing is like so great. Even so, how you can search and how it's right there. You can tell everyone. I would just.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, if you are aware you dreamt, don't sit straight up in bed and don't look at your phone immediately. Like, give yourself a couple seconds with your eyes closed and try to recall your dream with your eyes closed. And if you do this, cross your hands. Like, this is EMDR, but it freaking works because it puts you back in EMDR therapy, puts you back into a rapid eye movement. So REM sleep. So you do opposite shoulder tapping while you're laying there in bed and recall your dreams. That'll help you remember it. And Juan from the One-on-One podcast had a skull fucking method that allegedly works. I just haven't tried it yet. But then
what's the skull fucking method?
I want to say it was like he got it from like Manly B. Hall or somebody, you know. But it's you imagine. I don't even remember. I'll probably fuck it up. Like, I think like a blue penis coming out of you, and then like shoving it up into your skull, and for whatever reason it helps you remember your dream. Like
fucking your brain.
Yeah, but it's gotta be a big
Wow.
blue penis.
Huh.
It just sounds
Yeah.
like a wand fetish.
And then
I think that's-
also, you were saying like after when you do look at your phone, how you'll like just put it in your notes or some part of your phone. So that
Yeah.
way when you search your phone later and you pull up phone, when people are like, you never see your phone in your dream. Anything somebody says you never do in your dream,
I've done
I
it
always
all.
call Abbie. And I'm
Clocks,
like,
phones. Yes, I've
Abbie,
done it.
how many times have you died in your dream? And she'll be like, the last time? She's like, I don't want to count how many times. Like,
Yeah.
but she can just put like, and I died at the end or something in her little journal in her phone, and now she can search it afterwards.
So dream journaling is a way to like help your dream recall too, but like it's so tedious to sit there and write in a notebook, and you can't do it in the dark. And so I find the best method is to literally do it in the notes app in your phone. And I used to do the voice memos, but that's harder because you don't see it and you have to go back and listen to every single one to figure out what it's about. But if you just go into your notes, date it, you could just do one note and just continue it. So write the date and then write out your dream. Or you could do voice, text, speech to text or whatever. When I do that, it's usually pretty bad because I'm in the morning, I'm not punctuating it at all. I'm like, so I did this. And anyway, type it out. And then you can go back and then you can search your notes for keywords. So if I want to find say a word.
Donkey.
I don't know if I've dreamt of donkeys. Let's see.
Lion.
And then I'll tell you, because I'm not a dreamer, but I have different kind of superpowers. And I keep having the phrase, anytime somebody says summer of love, in my intuition, I'm like, nope, it's the summer of Sam. Nope, it's the summer of Sam. Like, I always have to say that back. And I'm like, the power's going to go out in New York and there's going to be a serial killer. And every time in that, it's because I see John Wayne Gacy's creepy face in my head. So I'm like, it's not going to be the summer of love. It's going to be the summer of Sam. And they're going to give us the same kind of creepy thing. And then another friend I know who has like different superpowers, she's like, I'm getting Purge vibes for New York, which is also a clown face. And so I just think it's all like on the timeline that we're on with everything going on in New York.
So I don't have lion in there, and I haven't dreamt of lions or that I've written down, and I haven't
Elephants?
neither donkey. Dogs I have. Elephant I know I have, unless I did it in a regular dream journal.
But now I'm going to tell you, as part of your documenting, you need to put dogs, animals. Like, you need to add like words, categories to, like, if you had a dream about wild dogs in the woods, you need to start like having just the word animal, just the word like timber, just like a couple other words that go along with that for later.
Well, you could also just dump all of your notes from the phone into AI and then tell AI, here's all my dreams, show me all the animals.
Well, that's yeah. So Elephant and I had 2 dreams that I've written down, but I mean it pulls up all of them. So like dog, I have had 1 million. Like,
What about blue
1,
penis?
2, 3, 4, 5. Blue penis. That would probably wouldn't be in my notes. It'd probably be in a message from Juan, actually. But I've dreamt of penises.
Snake.
Same thing.
Blue snake.
Snake, red snake. It was a red snake.
I feel like for real, you guys, if I were to write my dreams down, I have like 10 dreams. And I feel like I'll remember them forever. They're as real as like a memory, but I don't have like, I can't imagine going to a place so frequently as everyone I know. It seems it's wild.
I had Medusa hair in one dream.
I get
I had snakes for
frustrated
hair.
trying to write down my dreams because like what I can write never matches what I'm really trying to capture, which is far beyond of like a visual description of something. It's like a feeling. And by the time I think I can figure out how to write that, like it's like grasping at like a cloud that just keeps dissipating, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. So dream hackers, they don't even care about the content of the dream at all. And really, if you're kind of working on shadow work every day, which is what you're supposed to do if you're like on the magic path, to like make sure you get all that, purge all of that, so you can recollect all your power and your energy from other people and memories and shit. But I forgot what I was saying. What did you just say so I can remember?
Well, the trying to write down the dreams, it's like fleeting. Like the
Yeah.
more you write, the less that you can recall to keep writing about.
So the better thing to do, and this would be great for you especially, is mapping, dream mapping. So draw your dream. Don't even care about what happened in the dream. Just try to draw the setting. That's like dream hackers are like, we don't care about the content of the dream, draw the setting. And then date it. And then you can write about it as much as you want to write about it. Do a little short write up. It doesn't have to be long. And then draw it. And then put it on a bigger map. Like I use this app to do it in, but you can do it on paper or whatever. But each dream you start drawing, and then you start placing them on your map, because eventually you'll learn that they all connect. Like more or less, most of my dreams take place in my hometown. Even if I'm in Cambodia is like a neighborhood in my small town. Like a house is a portal to Cambodia. And it's weird that I can make that connection, but I can do it now. But the more that you map your dreams out and you start making the connections to where they are. And by the way, dream world is reverse. So it's the upside down. So north is south, south is north, east and west too are transposed. So it's the mirror world. But the more that you can write them out and draw them out, what happens is you get what they call explosive dream recall. Like it's supposed to be a huge high almost, because after you get to a certain point, you will immediately remember every dream you've ever had, almost all at once. And they're like, and then after you have that happen, it's like this whole come down, because it's like, it's wild how it happens, but you'll never forget a dream again.
When we're talking like geographic location, so like if I'm in New
Yes.
York in a bookstore, which of
Use-
those matters? Both that it's in New York and it's in a bookstore in New York?
Yeah, so I would try to draw because almost every dream has or dream map of a person. So if you think of the dream world, it's a archive, right? I told you it's a video archive, but also we all visit certain sectors. So I only visit this one little sector of the dream world where my dream map is, and you visit a sector over here usually. So that's why you're able to map it, because we usually go to the same areas over and over and over again. But everyone has a city. Everybody has like a mountainy area. There's certain things that every person has on their individual dream map. So like I want to say the mountains are almost always to the north. There's certain elements. I mean, I can give you all that information on dream mapping and like what they've discovered about it, but it's so I would draw like maybe the city, and then like you can draw a little bookstore off to the side of it. So you maybe some skyscrapers. So if I was doing it on my little app, I'd put it in skyscrapers, and then maybe like a little building and then write bookstore underneath it or something. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
Unless
it just has
he's
to be a
dreaming that
visual
he's in the city all the time, in which case he might want to like zoom in and put, oh, the bookstore is by the ice cream shop.
On a certain street. Yeah, because so what I do, because a lot of it's in my hometown, I will zoom in and I'll actually do it kind of like a street map. So if I'm doing a city though, it's just gonna kind of I don't like I my hometown isn't a city, so the city is like disconnected and it's a whole other location.
Because I feel like I could break certain locations down all the way to floor plans, like where like the same buildings keep popping up and they have the same configurations, like spanning decades, like the exact same staircases lead to the same rooms, even though the details
See, and
change a
that
little
should
bit.
lead you if you do it and you draw it, it will lead to lucidity too. So that's the whole purpose of this too. It's like it's dream recall and then lucidity because then you're gonna start noticing I go back to the same areas. Oh, now I'm here. I've been here before. When was I here before? Oh, I'm dreaming.
I wonder how far away we are from being able to do this dream mapping and then have, I'm just going to say AI just because it's shorter than describing whatever system in place.
Yeah.
Or like AI to then generate a 3D recreation of these cities and floor plans. And then you put on the VR headset in your waking life and get to explore in way more detail the things that you're seeing in your dream world. So you can like keep getting more and more your bearings, I guess, a little bit more. So the next time you get there in the dream position, you kind of know exactly like what room is supposed to come after this hallway, and like you're saying, increased lucidity. I wonder if we could develop that kind of feedback loop to where every time you dream now, you can go a little bit farther, like into the cave.
Yeah. Why couldn't you?
I feel
Because I feel like have you been in the houses that are never because there's labyrinths. There's usually there's labyrinths too, and you'll know when you're in a labyrinth because it's when you're like trying to get to a certain area, but it keeps growing and growing and growing. Like, have you been in the houses that keep expanding?
Is that proof that you're in somebody else's dream?
No, but when you get stuck in a labyrinth, it will translate to the real world. So, like, if somebody's stuck in a labyrinth, like they might have health issues and stuff like that. So, and if they can't get out of that labyrinth, like it's because they're stuck somewhere in the dream realm. It sounds so weird, but it's a real thing.
When you say that, the only thing I can think of is I call it a nightmare, again, just for simplicity, but like the most recurring nightmare theme that I've got is not being able to find my car. And every time I think I'm about to find it, the parking lot like triples in size. And then like
Yeah,
I
or
end
there's
up
like
becoming
suddenly a ski
exhausted.
slope in the parking lot, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
I'll wake up and I'll feel like for the first few minutes, like my legs are sore from walking so far to like find my car. I'll be frustrated, like angry when I wake up and like, oh, thank God my car's in the driveway right
Yeah.
now. It's such a relief. But as you're describing, like I guess that's my dream version of a labyrinth is never being able to find my car.
That's exactly what a labyrinth is. And so I think there's like 3 labyrinths in the dream realm too. So for labyrinths on mine, I just kind of draw it like a portal.
I've been in
So
a
and
parking
then I'll label
garage.
it labyrinth. Huh?
Every single thing you've said, even though as a person I don't remember dreams, I have an archetype dream for every single one of the things you said that I'm like, oof. Like that labyrinth dream was one of my biggest nightmares of all times. And I was in a parking garage. Like at first I was in hotel hallways. And then finally when I got out, I was in a never ending parking garage. And that's when I realized like, oh, I think I'm kind of fast in dreams. You know how people always say they're slow, but I can't fly. But I'm like, whoa, I'm really fast. So I realized in the labyrinth, like, I think I have like a superhuman speed. I think I'm fast. But I didn't
Just try
know
doing
that.
the long jump thing. If you can't fly, just try running and jumping and see what happens.
Well, I broke the flying thing, remember? Like I did that this year.
Oh yeah.
I flew in my
you
dream.
did. I forgot. Yep.
Remember that dream I told you guys about, like going to this house and it was familiar, and going upstairs in the attic and this going downstairs, it was different, and going to this room and I was in a house that felt like a labyrinth. Now that you're talking about it,
A lot of them are.
I
A lot
feel
of
like I'm
houses
stuck
are.
in that house, in that labyrinth that I didn't get out of, and that's the time around when the gut issues started happening.
It happens so the dream hackers will go in and like find friends that are like their astral bodies that are trapped in a
I
labyrinth.
wonder.
I have
Not I'm
another
saying
thing to
that
tell
that's what's
you.
happening, but I
If
wonder.
you can lucid dream, this is just a labyrinth trick for everybody in the world. If you're ever trapped in a corn maze, if you put your right hand on the wall and you do not take your right hand off the wall, you will get out of that maze. Just keep your right hand on the wall. Maybe it'll work with your left hand too. If you want to take the left hand path and be one of those people, I'm sure it's the same thing. But really what you're doing is you're making, because all mazes are just one straight line. The way out is the only line that gets out. It's the only one. So it's just like if you keep your hand on the wall, you'll be able to get out. So anyways, for people that are lucid dreamers, or even if it was something that was attached to like a health issue, a mental issue, a relationship issue, a work issue, if you could put your hand on the wall of the labyrinth to get out in your waking life, would it matter?
It should, yeah.
Like, does
it would
one
matter.
is the dream waiting for you to fix it in real life, or could you fix it in the dream? In your real life, you'd wake up and it'd be different.
You could fix it in your dream, and your real life would be different.
Can I
You
save
absolutely
myself?
can.
That's the hack, right?
Yes, that's the hack. Because
Can I save myself in a labyrinth?
yes,
Oh. Huh.
because
So,
that lucid
I would have to
dreaming,
go
you
back to
can
that
heal your
spot.
body in a lucid dream too. Though you could also, like, you wake up in a dream, you could tell the dream, "I want to go to a healing center," or "I want to go see Jesus and have him lay hands on me," or whoever you want to do it. Like, "I want to see an ascended master." Like, you can tell it all those things, and it will heal your body. Or you say, "I want a healing potion."
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean,
Yep.
thoughts are things. You're believing
Yeah.
it, and then you're actually getting to see it. And that would be the getting to see it in your mind's eye, would be you're doing the action of getting
Yeah.
to see it in your mind's eye.
That part where you're like, give me a healing potion, or like, let me see Jesus and lay hands on me. That also seems a lot easier said than done, because the correlation I got in that is like the blank canvas syndrome. You sit down and draw something, and you just got a white sheet of paper. You can literally draw anything, and then it's almost like being overloaded with all of the different options. So now it's in dreams sometimes, like the ideas I come up with, like when I mentioned I realized I was lucid dreaming, let me just go do a whole bunch of stuff that you can't do in real life. But there's less intent. It's not like if I could have just been like, let me just drink a magic pill, let me just take a hit of salvia in the dream realm. But like those options don't present themselves. The options that I have are something stupid like, I'm gonna go to an auction, or I'm gonna go and
Well,
like,
no. Now that we're talking about it, though, you'll think about it, because the second that was presented to me, the next lucid dream I had, I was like, I've done it all. So I went and talked to an ascended master. I went up these crazy stairs, and there was like this, I don't even know, he was male though, and he told me something so profound. I sat straight up in bed and I go, oh, I'm totally gonna remember that. And then I went back to sleep and I fucking totally forgot it. But it was something simple, like it was like one word, and it was like all I needed to hear. I was like, I get it now. Like, it was just one fucking word.
you can't always take it back the same way.
Well, I remembered when I woke up. I just had to write it down, and I was like, I'll remember it.
Same. I've had one of
Famous
those
last
dreams.
words.
I feel like I called you and said, Abbie, I like went to the bathroom and then I went back to sleep, and then
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. And I swear I figured out, because I had been drawing that eye since I was sick and drawing all the ways that the like
Yeah.
things crossed over. And I was like, I figured
know
out
what I
time
mean.
travel.
Yes, you did.
Like, and I was like, I had all the answers, and I'm like, it was so real. And I was just like, you'll remember. You're so excited about it. There's no
Yeah.
way you'll forget. And it's so easy. You'll never forget this easy
Yes.
key.
It's so simple.
It was so simple that it was like what I had been searching for forever. And it was like it had been in front of me the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to sing this from the rooftops when I wake up.
Yeah. And then I did the healing center one. I told the dream, and this is another time when the dream entities were pissed off at me, because I told it, I was like, I want to go to a healing center. So then I was wearing AirPods, and it was like talking really low in my ear in a British accent, and it was like reading to me Alice in Wonderland. And I went up on I sat down on this little carousel thing, and it like took me out like the sky things, this at Disneyland. It took me up like
Monorail.
that. Like
Oh no, the little sky carts.
yeah, it took me up on one of those. And I mean, I never like then I woke up, so I didn't actually make it there, but that was where I was going. So
Have you?
What does it mean when you
remember.
die in a dream? Because I recently had one. And it was like each scenario was showing me dying. Like I was watching myself, but I was there.
It would depend on the context of it. I die a lot in dreams. Sometimes I'm pissed off about it, and
I died
usually I'm
once
pretty
in a
pissed when I
dream.
die.
I died once in a dream.
It was sad. All
And
of
I was
it.
holding a rope, and there was a donkey or
Oh, that's
a
why you said donkey.
jackass on the other side of it, and it was like so stubborn that it wasn't trying to save me. It was just the donkey's natural instinct to me trying to pull it. It was pulling backward. And so it was just like this, like me looking at this donkey, like knowing that it wasn't going to, like, imagine if you were trying to, like a dog, every time you grab the leash, it just immediately pulled backward. That's what this donkey, it was like my amount of force pulling it just made it. It wasn't trying to save my life, but it was like, oh my gosh, and then I felt like I lost the rope.
Well, that is so metaphoric. Like you're literally struggling with a fucking jackass. Like there's no
I was
fixing
so
stupid, and it's
young.
actually what I mean.
Like I
Like
don't
you,
even have a concept of what Jackass would have been. This is just one of those dreams that kind of stays
I
around.
know, but it doesn't matter. It's collective. It's the
Have,
collective unconscious.
that's what I was going to ask you. You think we're all singularity as well. Have you met somebody in your dream not from you? Like a visitor or like another dreamer or like a hacker?
Yeah, because I think that they've tested me already, like to see if because they do, like they're not going to invite you into their club unless you pass their tests, and there's like 5 of them, and almost everyone fails the sex tests. Like I think I failed that one for sure. So that one's like not gonna
You're like, I
fail
think
you
I
out of the
failed that one a
program
whole bunch of times.
all the time. Like all my first lucid dreams were all about
I
sex.
failed that one on purpose for like a good year.
Yeah, I did actually. Literally, all my first lucid dreams, like, I want to have sex. And guys probably are worse, but yeah, my soul's horny. What can I say? Shit.
I don't know. It's such a crazy idea. I'm sure I had another. I'm like, while you were talking, I just kept writing down things.
Because remember when I told you I was blind in a lot of my lucid dreams?
Uh-huh.
So I've had an outside person fucking help me with that. They came in, they're like, look, because I was completely lucid for a really long time. And I was like, why can't I see? And he gave me a watch, and he said, he told me exactly why. I can't remember what he told me. He said, but you need, like, I'm basically giving this to you so you have eyes to see in the dream. So
in the contact of it all, do you think us from another time are capable of contacting us in a dream in the same way that we theorize that aliens would visit us in this reality?
I think we sometimes are, us now are the people who, like, we intercede for ourselves in the past and probably the future. Like we experience it, and maybe that's why it feels like deja vu, because that version of you couldn't handle it at the time.
Have you ever woken up in somebody else's dream?
I'm woken up in somebody else's dream. How?
Like dreamed, and out of all the places that you've been, like it maybe took you a minute and you were like, this isn't mine. Like I'm in somebody else's, even though it might all be a collective. You know,
Like
how you
body,
said sometimes you look
or-
in the mirror and you're not you.
Yeah.
Or even the place that you're at isn't the bookstore in New York you're used to. Or it's not the same house where you're like, whoa, everyone I'm meeting in this thing is entirely different.
Like when
Oh,
you pick
yeah.
up the phone and get someone else's like line.
Yeah, like everything where you're like, it seems like it would be harder for me to differentiate that because I don't have a basis of my dream reality as much as you do. So it would be like if a new style art was just given to you. Like, is there a time that you're like, whoa, this is all different? Or is it all pretty much the same, even if you're wearing different flesh?
It's different. Like wearing different flesh for sure. I was this woman with like short dark hair, and like I was probably in like 1940s, like that. That's the time I would put it in.
Same. I had that
And I was
experience.
wearing like a black dress with white polka dots, and I was shopping for silverware, like flatware for me and my husband and my little daughter with red hair.
Like that stuff, do you feel like, oh, I just walked into reality back, like I time traveled?
Yeah, but I knew I was lucid too, so I knew who I was, and I knew the experience that I was having for her. It's so weird.
This is so weird. I think it's so heady, and I think dreams are definitely like if there was a Venn diagram of whatever it is our reality is, from like this esoteric or this ionosphere or this ether, or dreams are something. Like there's some kind of something going on.
Because that's the experiment I'm trying to do with my kids too, is we've been trying to meet up in dreams, and my daughter found, like, she told the dream she wanted to find me, and it told her she couldn't, like, sorry, that's blocked right now. So she found a mermaid instead. So she's all excited because she loves mermaids. So she went and hung out with a mermaid, and when she was sleeping and when she was having the dream, I was awake. So there's no way she could have like intercepted my dream. But I have met up with two people I know in dreams. I couldn't verify. One of them was my sister, and I was teaching her how to fly. I was like, oh, look, we're dreaming. I'm going to teach you how to fly. And then and I don't talk to her in real life anymore. And the other one was my daughter. She couldn't remember it though, but she was having a nightmare, and I walked into her nightmare. She was like way asleep in the dream though. Like she was sitting there like looking through blinds, and she was freaking out, and like a killer was coming after her, and I was like, you're dreaming. And for 1 second she looks up and she goes, I'm dreaming? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh. And then the dream ended. And then when I talked to her the next day, she actually had a nightmare. She doesn't remember waking up though.
Donut likes Layla's new setup, and he hasn't even seen it with her brand new sign. Donut, we were just talking about you and your trip to Florida. We'll let you hang out with your boyfriend before you hang out with the ladies. We'll let you guys spend quality time before we take you to go airboat.
What happened to
Potato?
Potato? Oh, there it goes.
There it is. Oh shit. Thomas,
Potato
did you want to
tomato.
give a shout out to anyone?
I feel like this. I was supposed to. I don't know. Who am I supposed to shout out? Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, shout out to Stephanie from Bro Grove. I promised that I would shout her out. We all met up at Bro Grove 1. We hung out. She's one of the coolest people there. It was cool seeing her this time around at Bro Grove 3. She brought a friend along. So, yeah, shout out Stephanie. Thanks for reminding
Love you,
me.
Stephanie.
Yeah, she's awesome. I love that girl.
Yeah, Stephanie's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's sweet. Do you
What a
guys have any-
pal. I'm glad you reminded me.
I'm good at it. I'm like the personal assistant with the most.
I was almost like, oh my God, did I just forget my mom's birthday?
Did you want to give somebody a special shout out? On the show?
Happy birthday, Abbie.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Elon
you.
Musk.
It's my unbirthday though.
It's your very, very unbirthday. Do you guys have anything exciting going on this week?
I'm getting titties on Thursday.
Yay!
Is that going to show up in the dream realm too?
Probably.
Could that be another reality check?
Maybe, yeah.
Are you
Are they small? Are they big?
Are you do you have somebody to take care of you?
Yeah. My daughter is gonna take care of me.
Okay, good. Good, because it is not an easy surgery.
No, I'm actually kind of
Not
freaked
that I
out
know
about
from
it.
experience, but I come from a long line of boob jobs.
It doesn't sound pleasant.
What's
My
the
wife-
And then they're like,
plan
you're
on
probably
these
not gonna be
things?
happy with them for like 3 to 6 months because they're gonna be really high up until they apparently they have to settle.
I
Mhm.
wonder
Your
if
skin
since we're
has to
talking about
stretch.
dreams, this thought
Your
came into my
muscle
head.
too.
But they say that dreams are in the head and the mind, but I wonder what our fascia system has to do with the dream aspect and the electrical current that runs through the fascia. I wonder if that has a lot to do with dreaming or not dreaming because of the electrical current that comes out of the fascia.
It has everything to do with a regular dream, a non-lucid dream, because
Mm,
like when you see something in a dream and it got shot, you pay attention to the body part, you can go look at an acupuncture chart and it'll tell you what's happening in your body.
yeah.
Or if you see a whole bunch of blocks or tiles or bricks and a whole bunch of different color, like a certain color, because usually it'll be a thematic color. Like you'll see orange this, orange here, orange that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll see like bricks and you'll see blocks or tiles, and it's like it's telling you have a blocked sacral chakra. Like it'll literally tell you using words like that, like you have a blockage, and that
Okay.
your chakra system is part of your fascia system too. It's all
Okay.
connected.
Yeah. All right. I see. Because the
Happy
more and more
birthday, Maxie G.
Happy birthday,
happy
Maxie.
birthday. Yeah, more and more I'm hearing the talk of fashion, how like doctors don't even want to even touch like the idea of like getting into the fascia and like getting to the root, obviously, because that's the root. And once they can understand, like you said, clearing out the blockages can help actually heal the body quicker, because there's a constant flow of electricity running through your body and no imbalance. So when it's balanced through the electrical system, that's when your body starts to work better.
You know
And
what?
that's why
Hearing you
Eastern
say,
medicine is so important. It's
like,
so much more valid. It gets to
Mhm.
the root instead of just
Mhm.
treating symptoms.
Yeah.
hearing you say that, you know how they say like a healthy body is an alkaline body and a bad body is an acidic body, and then think of an alkaline battery versus an acid battery, like just
Period.
like
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
What's
Wild.
fascia? What do you mean when you're saying the fascia?
If you keep
Fascia,
it for
it's
20 years, it'll come back in season.
fascia
It's
is
the
everything that holds your body almost
Oh,
together.
it's
fascia,
like the
not
netting
fashion.
in your body, but it's like where yeah, um
It's the
all the
electrical system.
electricity goes through.
Yeah. It's like the wiring of your body. Like, you know, you ever see
Like
like
your
a
nervous
computer?
system?
No, that's different. The fascia is like its own system. So it's like almost like you ever see like a motherboard and you have that long, thick with a bunch of like wires attached to it and you clip it in and it's like a thick gray, band, but it's a bunch of wires in it that connects into something. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
your
the IC
fascia
chip,
is.
an
Yeah, that.
integrated circuit chip.
So that's what your fascia is, but it's throughout your entire body. Like it is
Yeah, it like
connected to
runs through your
everything.
body like that.
Uh-huh.
Is this a new age thing or a real thing?
No, this is
No, it's
real.
a real thing.
That's it
Like
up close, and then it's like
plantar
this.
fasciitis. Yeah, you've heard of plantar fasciitis, how people get that pain
Yeah.
in their
Yeah,
foot?
yeah.
It's because you can't really stretch your fascia.
Mhm.
So it's a blockage actually in your fascia somewhere.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So your fascia is a real thing. It's a medical thing. Like it's actually part of your anatomy.
Yeah, and they don't want to touch it
And
because
so
it
that's
goes.
why it seems so woo-woo, but there's nothing woo-woo about it. And that's why Eastern medicine, like they're getting it all, they're trying to work it out and get it fixed because these clogs in your main meridians, like your
Mhm.
gallbladder meridian, all that, it has to do with your fascia system. So that's what causes dis-ease in your body, and then it causes disease. It actually makes you sick. So when I'm saying all this stuff, it's not fucking new agey, it's actually old.
Yeah.
They've known it
And
forever. And that's what your subconscious knows this shit. So that's when I'm telling people you can use this stuff to interpret your dreams. I'm not saying that like you had to even be aware of it at all. Your body knows it's real. So your body is aware of it. So your body is pinpointing a spot on the fucking acupuncture chart because it knows and it's trying to tell you, deal with this shit or you're going to get sick or
If Abbie, if you were to do an impression of fascia singing happy birthday to Maxie G, it doesn't have to be the full rendition, but how would fascia tell Maxie G happy birthday?
happy birthday, be healthy. I don't know.
That's
Shit.
good. That's the Maxie G. That's your fascia. It's not even a full
what's
song.
interesting about fascia is the structure of it. With its chemical makeup and how it's made and what it's made of and the elasticity and it's just a fascinating material of matter that lives within you. It's so fucking wild. It's so wild. What the
Well,
fuck
that's
are we?
when I get body work done. No, I don't just do massage. I'll do scraping too, and it's to like scrape your fascia.
Yeah. It's wild.
Ew. I was gonna pull up a picture of fascia, but
Never mind.
I don't like what it showed. I thought it was just going to be like a nice little artsy cartoon, and it was real life fascia, and I felt like all of a sudden I was watching Jaws.
If you're really into fascia, does that make you a fascist?
That's probably what it means, fascist. They're messing with your fascia. That's where I was saying. It's like if your fascia will come back in style every 20 years.
What is the etymology of fascia?
Look at
How do you spell fascia?
FASCIA.
I'll put it at the bottom for you to see it.
Oh, of course, there's a CIA in it.
Of course.
Of course, there's a CIA in it.
Band, door, a frame. Let's see.
I give a good fascia massage.
A band, a bandage,
Come
a
on.
swath, a
I
ribbon.
love a good massage.
Give a
Is
good
that
fascia
a
massage.
fascial?
A fascial.
Myofascial.
Oh, I love this shit.
So
The later it gets.
Myofascial. I think that's what they call it.
I love it. Let me relight my joint for that one. Layla's looking up something.
Yeah, in Latin, a fascia could mean a bandage for the body, foot wraps to keep boots from rubbing, and breast supporter for women. A fascia.
Well, it kind of is. If you look at what the fascia is doing in the body, it's holding all this other stuff in these really tight quadrants. Like you can only get so big, and then fascia damage nah, I don't know if it is or not. Is that what between your ribs?
It's between everything. It's like this. It's just the wet. You know, like silver skin inside, like when you're like inside of a piece of meat, and then there's like that silver skin and stuff. That's part of the fascia system.
So basically, whatever they put in chicken nuggets, you're just eating pure fascia.
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
No, I would say mostly dicks and beak. Sorry, I think that was Tammy.
So
Yeah, we're
weird.
like electrical cords.
Almost like
Inside the
Dixie Beat.
fascia, it literally looks like a fucking wire cord, but like the ones that go from the United States to Europe. The main
Oh,
cables.
thank you for doing that, Layla. That's where I was looking
That's
for
where
you when I found Jaws.
Mm.
I said, let me see inside fascia. And I was like, oh, it looked like Pornhub.
There you go. Interesting. Maybe that's where the copper lays.
Dicks and beak is my new password.
Dicks and Beaks was my and Thomas's college band name.
Like it.
What kind of
We
music
will
does it play?
eventually. I just gotta quit this job.
Josie's on a vacation far away.
I gotta work tomorrow. All
You guys
day.
gotta play like
You gonna
80s
work all day
throwbacks.
tomorrow?
9 to 9.
Yuck.
It's inhumane.
So you're up in like 4 hours from now.
Yeah. I gotta get up, take a shower, just throw some clothes on. Well, my uniform, whatever. Uniform. Anyway. I'm looking for a stay-at-home job where I could just work off a computer or phone and because I don't want to interact with people outside.
Hi, thank you for calling. Blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
There's probably tons of things.
I could make faces behind a phone and like, you know, like, you know.
Layla's
Yeah.
like,
Hi, how are you today? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll pass you over to my manager.
hi, yes, I'll put you on the list. I'll put you right on the list.
Oh, no, this bitch. Let me stop. This would not make a good interview. Like, if anyone's watching out there.
Do you? I know if you guys are trying to hire somebody to be friendly at your front desk, this is not the interview to pass on.
No, I'll be on the phone. Yeah, no problem. I will kiss ass. No problem. They can't see how I react. So,
Are you guys doing anything fun this week? You want to shout out anywhere that people can find you?
same as always.
Nope.
Same as always. You guys make sure you follow all of us just in case something goes awry somewhere else. We love that you hung out with us all evening. And
Love you guys so much.
yeah. I'm grateful that I get to come here and hang out with you guys.
Yeah,
like
for real.
you guys and you guys. Watch.
Yeah.
So like I'm
All
grateful for
y'all.
both things. I feel pretty lucky. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. Are we gonna predict
Happy 4th of
anything? And by
July.
predict, are we gonna what's gonna happen this week? We're coming up on what, 4th of July will be the week coming up. The 7-4 of it all.
You already made the
Independence Day.
prediction. Christmas in July.
Christmas in July, that's coming. But what about this week specifically?
Oh,
I say we
are we getting a
keep
false flag in New
putting
York?
Polanski. Polanski dies on the timeline.
Okay.
Okay.
I like this.
More alien stuff coming up.
I think so too. If we're learning one alien species specifically, it's going to get weird with aliens.
For sure. Like they're already talking about the capsules, like the pill looking things. Those are like government. I forgot the name. I took a screenshot of it actually, what it actually is called. Those little they're not little, but they look like pills, the crafts that they're seeing in the skies. Yeah, I had the name of what the project is called.
I feel like we put this on the timeline recently. We talked about putting Aliens and Majestic 12 on the timeline.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what else are we gonna put on the timeline? We're here. Like it's this time of the week. We've have the most magical audience in the whole world, and they're always down for a group spell against the cabal. So what are we
New
gonna
Guinea
do?
was a weird fucking autocorrect, so let's put New Guinea on the timeline for whatever reason. I don't know why.
You guys, this blew my mind this week. You know how it's a thing in the Anon thing where they're always like misspellings matter, misspellings matter. You know why misspellings matter so much? Because only fucking humans do them.
Yeah.
The computer won't write you anything with a fucking misspelling in it. So it's something that with all the AI of the real somebody, or look at, they put in a misspelling. Well, how many other people are just have been having AI run all these accounts for how long? So of course everything's always going to look perfect. There's never going to be a misspelling. There's never going to be a mispunctuation.
Okay, so apparently,
Just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Tim Pool was on the on his podcast, I believe, with Eric Burlson, and they talked about the Tic Tac looking spaceships. Yeah, and it's called Lockheed Martin. Okay, listen.
The company?
Yes. Okay, hold on.
Is a Lockheed Martin creation.
No shit, Captain Obvious. I've been telling you that for a...
So yeah, it's a Lockheed Martin, and that's the company who are creating these UFOs per se. So this technology is out during the whole bombing of Israel and all that stuff. You saw these little crafts taking out bombs and shit. It's all military. It's all government.
I feel like I can say it loose enough to say that one of my family members who I always felt like was in some fraternal order, and he worked for a company that is an offshoot of Lockheed Martin. And he, you know how like you're like somebody would tell you like their story, their cool story of their job. And the cool story he always told me is that like, oh, we helped with the jetpacks for the space program. And now thinking about everything, like the amount of lives in the space program and then the amount of truths that were actually happening with weird aircraft and weaponry on the planet, it's just like, what were they really up to? So interesting.
You know, just and the synchronicity of it all, fun fact, but on the way to Universal Studios in Orlando, if you don't take the correct exit when you're going there, and you miss it, you end up driving directly into Lockheed Martin, and then they make you go through the security gate and turn back around. But almost anyone that's gotten lost on the way to Universal Studios Orlando ends up at Lockheed Martin. It's like an incredibly common thing.
Weird.
That's odd.
It is
That's
weird.
Suspicious.
It's happened to me a few times, And I've been with other people that were driving around when I was working at Disney, and it happened to them as well. Like almost everyone that's had to drive around that area has accidentally ended up at Lockheed Martin.
This is since we're talking about contact, and just to round it off, and because we started with like alien or dolphin Illuminati, I didn't know, and I've researched this a whole bunch of times. In the whole John C. Lilly and the whole dolphins and the whole like Peter and the whole tale, I never knew it was a NASA program, and it's like it just validated to me even more so that space is an ocean. Like, or they have to go through the ocean to get to space, or some of these creatures that are in the ocean are coming out of other different areas that aren't. It's just like something else is amiss here. Like,
well, maybe Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was like cluing us in on that, because all the dolphins leave the planet. So long and thanks for the fish.
yeah, it seems like that a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they look kind of gray alien.
Did you guys hear about that tiny motherfucking dolphin? Have you seen it? It's a rare sighting of a tiny dolphin. It's so there's plenty of them, but because they're so small, you actually miss it and you can't tell. But someone actually caught it on camera recently, like a tiny fucking dolphin. I forgot what the name of the dolphin is called.
Hector's dolphin.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the world's tiniest dolphin.
It's so cute.
Yeah, I'll pull up. It's like it just shows little image right now of it. Oh, here. Oh
so he's
my
like
gosh.
A dwarf?
Yo, I can't. I'm going to show you guys real quick before we go out.
Oh.
Like, there's one of their faces.
So cute.
Is this AI? Like, I mean, that is obviously.
It's funny you say that, because Tiny Dolphin is the name of an AI model.
Huh.
And doesn't it seem like all of a sudden, at the exact same time that we have all this new AI and all this stuff, they're going to start showing us all these crazy species that look like all of the like hybrid species of yesteryear, and they're going to be like, look what we discovered. But we're going to be like, is that AI?
It's a teacup dolphin.
Anyways, yep, this feels like a perfect end to whatever it is we're up to here. And we don't even know what kind of havoc or chaos we put on the timeline.
Just saying.
So if you know how, Layla, you always said that just because there's a great flood written in everything, it doesn't mean it happened at once.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about a blackout. I don't think it has to happen everywhere. The movie doesn't say it has to happen everywhere.
It just has to happen in the major cities. That's all.
Yeah. So anyway, head on a swivel, and if UFOs are coming, Independence Day shit.
Just pull out your popcorn and just watch. Don't panic.
Yeah, shoot your guns in the air for sure.
Yeah.
All right, turn it down a little.
And
Juliet,
fireworks.
come
This is
hard.
4th of July.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Happy Independence Day, you guys. Happy 7-4.
Happy 4th. Yay.
Don't pay taxes on fireworks.
Don't pay your taxes ever. Can't you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking, good guys.